draw against Newcastle last week, in which they had numerous chances to win, really should have come away with all 3 points. It's the start to the season.
Good afternoon. Welcome, everybody, to KUMB TV's Eyes Up Mother Brown. We are back once again for another West Ham United Premier League fixture, the 3rd Premier League fixture of the season. We're hoping to get our first win. There's everyone outside, right, folks? West Ham United v Brighton. I am joined this afternoon by my good friend and colleague from KUMB, DL. Nick, how you doing, buddy?
I'm all good, mate. All good. I'm just trying to get up the teams here and see if I can be as professional as I'm not.
Nick is going to bring you the teams just in momentarily, which I haven't actually seen yet. I've got to say, I've been so busy trying to get everything set up with our new look screen and all that round here that I've not even had a chance to see them yet. So I shall pass you over to Nick to give you the teams while I post our live link on all our other streams. Nick,
at the moment, I can only find the West Ham team. I'm looking on Twitter and can't find the official Brighton. Oh, here we go. Brighton and Hove Albion. Today I'll be a bit different and I'll go with the visitors first. And they line up with Sanchez, Webster, Dunk, Mark McAllister, Trossard, Gross, Lallana, Welbeck, Caicedo and Veltman. On the bench, they have Steele, Lamptey, Colwill, Mepu, Morpai, Ozarte, and Mitoma, and I'm not attempting to pronounce that one, but it begins with it. And for West Ham United, the home side, Fabianski, Kimpel, Zuma, a home debut in the league for Carra, Cresswell, Rice as captain, Souček, Bowen, Fornals, Benrahma, and Antonio. And on the bench, we have Areola, Johnson, Ashby, Ogbonna, Coventry, a new signing, Downs, Lanzini, another new signing, Cornet, and number 7, Skamaka.
A lot of new signings on the bench and involved today. Nick, what are your thoughts on that? You surprised to see Fabianski back in the lineup, for example, or do you think that's the right thing to do from Moise?
I think Moyes is biding his time with Fabianski. Right. I think he's going to wait for an excuse to drop him. Reason, not an excuse, a reason.
Yeah.
A loss of form. I understand why he's kept him in there. You know, he had the shirt at the end of last season.
Yeah.
But, you know, the start of a new season, he could very well have changed it up and swapped Areola and Fabianski around. But while he's got the shirt, it's down to him to try and keep it.
Absolutely. Looking at the team, which I still haven't got up, I'm trying to get everything running here. But Carra also starting. That a bit of a surprise to you, bearing in mind he's only been at the club for a few days. When did he sign? Monday, Tuesday? Thrust straight into a Premier League encounter. Of course, we saw him on Thursday night against Viborg very briefly, but he's surprised to see him start today. I mean, presumably Ogbonna's not considered fully fit to start just yet.
No, and I think that's the surprise. Not why it's not a surprise to me. We've spent out money on a centre back because we're seriously lacking in the centre back department. You know, he's no mug. He's one of Germany's regular starters, so he's used to playing football. It's not like he's a youngster coming through. It's a new league, but he's played against British clubs in the Champions League before, so. No, I don't see that as much as a surprise. We've got no left backs. We bought one. He's gone straight into the team. So,
okay. Mickey Antonio retaining his starting spot at the pinnacle of the attack. Any surprises there? Skamaka, of course, scored his debut goal the other night.
Yeah, again, bear in mind the quality of the opposition. It was a nice run out for him. Again, it's a case of Antonio's got the shirt, whether I necessarily agree with it or not. But to be fair, he wasn't too bad against Forest, Antonio.
Yeah.
Having, by the looks of it, Fornals playing in the centre as well instead of Lanzini, it might work. But it's good. We've got options. We've got options on the bench now. You know, we've got game changers that could come on. Some will argue that Antonio perhaps should be now used as a game changer. But again, the shirt's his to lose. So I understand Moyles' loyalty. I don't necessarily agree with it, though.
Okay, good stuff. We are underway at the London Olympic Stadium. The game has kicked off. Welcome to everybody joining us on the live stream. Dan, David, Dan B as well, Dan Robinson and Dan B. Good to see you, fellas. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a nice, pleasant weekend. There's a nice shot of the sidelines and David Moyes and Kevin Nolan deep in conversation already in the opening minute here of this game. Looking at Brighton, Nick, is there anyone there you particularly were concerned about?
No, they're not a team of. They don't have any stars as such, do they? They're just a very well-drilled team. There isn't anyone that particularly stands out. I just fear Brighton in general because they're so organised. They seem to be a bit of a bogey team for us. But we need a win. And hopefully we get it. Person for person, player for player, we are the better team. But but not necessarily on the pitch, you know, which is a bit baffling. Hopefully we can put the hoodoo to bed this afternoon. Yeah.
Indeed. It's been a long time since we last tasted victory against this side Ben Rama. The U coming from Nick there. I'm guessing Nick, that was the side Ben Rama effort that we've just seen. Ben Rama cutting in from the right hand wing and sending his shot just wide of the post. Pardon?
Wasn't far wide either.
No, not at all. Not at all. Getting his angles, you might say. But good start from West Ham here. 10 years, Nick, since the last defeat of Brighton. Do you remember that game? I think in fact, we do this every time we play Brighton now, don't we? Yeah. It's like, do you remember the last time we beat them?
Yeah, we can't forget that 6-0 drubbing, can we? And that superb Tay hat-trick. What a game that was. But of course, it wasn't in the top league, was it? It was in the second tier. Back in the day. It was.
How many games is it now? Is it 9, 10 games since we last beat them?
10. I think this is the 10. And my stream keeps cutting out. I'm having to refresh.
Okay, no worries. Well, if anything happens, I'll keep everyone abreast of the situation. It's 3 minutes gone anyway. West Ham 0, Brighton 0. West Ham attacking on the left-hand side now with Mickey Antonio. Yes, you said at the top of the show there that you're hoping that we'll win, and of course we do need a win. It's been a not a great start to the season. Do you think we're going to win it today? Are you confident?
At the moment, no. I've not really in the league so far seen anything to make me pretty confident, and I'm pretty nervous about this game. People on the forum have said that this isn't a must-win game, but to me, I kind of feel it is. We need to break the rot early door because 3 losses out of 3 at the start of a Premier League season doesn't bode well for the rest of the season. And whilst I understand it's only 3 games, when you win games, it breeds a winning mentality. When you lose week in, week out, and gradually that 3 games may go to 4 because it's a tricky game against Villa next week, and it might go to 5 because we're playing the old enemy from North London. And that's then when I can't see it happening, but then maybe the board will start thinking, hang on a minute, this is... And it's the last thing I think we all want. It's to me, it's a transition season this season, and we need to get something today, even a point, just to get off the mark, So we're not sitting with 0 from 3 at the end of today, because in anyone's book, that ain't a good look whatsoever for a team of our aspirations.
No, very true, very true. Where are we? We're still 1 from bottom, are we? Man, you haven't played yet. They're playing tomorrow, aren't they? So they'll still be below us.
1 from bottom, but it's still 0 from 3 if we don't win, isn't it? So
well, of course it's back in the day when you and I were youngsters watching Match of the Day and things like that. They wouldn't even print the league table until what was it, 3rd or 4th game or whatever. So we'll just say it doesn't count for now. It's it's immaterial. It's just surprised to see Forest get a point yesterday up at Everton. Of course, Everton scored really late, didn't they? Something like the 88th minute.
collision with Thomas Socha.
I think Forest and Everton are going to be in that for the whole season. That second tier, not the second tier, the third tier. You've got the so-called Big Six, and you've got the ones below that, which I consider ourselves part of now: Newcastle, Brighton, Wolves, and then you've got the ones below that are going to be there or thereabouts, looking over their shoulder. So I consider both Everton and Forest to be part of that third tier. So no, I'm not particularly surprised it was a draw. I hope they keep on to Lampard as long as possible, because they're not bad. I don't think they've got bad players, Everton.
Yeah.
I just think they've got a poor manager. And if they get a decent manager in, and then you know they're going to be our direct rivals. But saying that, I'm getting ahead of myself. We could well find ourselves fighting in that third tier this season if we don't get points on the ball. Pretty sharpish.
Brighton attacking on the left-hand side. It's a ball gone over the top. West Ham very slow to react, but fortunately for West Ham, so was the Brighton striker. Danny Welbeck it was. He picked the ball up and had to turn back and recover, but still got the ball on the right-hand side of our penalty area. The ball's delivered into the near post, but nodded clear by Carra. His first real involvement of the game, and Brighton's still hanging on, but West Ham trying to regain possession. It's all up in the air. And West Ham got a chance to break now on our left-hand side. Here comes Said Benrahma. Can he do something? Benrahma's been in a bit of form, hasn't he, so far this season?
He's been lively.
Danny Welbeck, it wasn't had to turn back and recover, but still got the ball on the right-hand side of our. Is that me or you feeding back? Me myself. That's better.
So, so now I've just opened a YouTube channel, so I can see
that was a bit weird.
I forgot to press mute.
No worries. I could hear in my own dulcet tones, which is always a bit off-putting. My stream's packed up now. It's all good stuff. Should we say some hellos to everybody while we're trying to get the streams back and running? Hi, Rob. Not a lot of hair about on the Barnets this afternoon. You're right. Lee joining us on holiday from Orlando, watching the game from his room just after 9 a.m. And Elaine, one of our regulars. Hi, Elaine. Good afternoon. Hope you're well. Hope you and the other half are doing well and enjoying this game this afternoon. I've completely lost my stream, so I've got to go to another. But I can tell you it's still 0-0. There are no goals.
If you're on the stream that I sent you, if you refresh the page, it comes back.
Okay. I'm on this. I can't say too much, but I'm on a subscription model. But it's usually pretty good, but it seems to have completely failed. But anyway, we'll Nick will keep us up to date. He's got the stream going.
So, I will. There was a little Antonio's just come bursting down our left, gone to put a cross in, easy for the keeper who's just plucked it out there.
Gnome's just Gnome, of course, who's in Rhodes doing some scouting or something like that at the moment for the site. He's said, "Get a stream going. I have nothing here." So there you go. Nick's got one. We're all right. We're go. We're just waiting for our admins here to get our stream up and running. But it is West Ham United 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 0. Anyway, fairly even start. No one really getting a grip so far, as you would expect from a game where you've got two teams that are very, very closely matched. Interesting to know Graham Potter, Nick, on Friday in his press conference saying that we shouldn't really, or people shouldn't really be comparing Brighton with West Ham because of West Ham's massive advantage in terms of available resources. What did you make of that one? You think that was a bit of kidology from the Brighton man?
Yeah, pretty much.
I agree.
Pretty much. Yeah. In other words, I don't know how to take it. To me, that was like a little bit of a dig, to be honest.
Oh, you reckon?
Like, that we've got all this money, or we've spent all this money, and we're sitting at the bottom of the table. I think it was probably more tongue-in-cheek than meant.
Right. Sorry, I'm listening to you. I'm just trying to work it out and get my stream back up. I kind of agree with you. It struck me as one of those. Oh, here we go. Oh, we are back up. 10 minutes gone. I can see 10 minutes on my clock and Brighton in possession. Yeah, I kind of agree. It sounded a little bit like that to me, that it was like, oh, look at us, poor little Brighton against the mighty West Ham. And I'm not so sure he was entirely genuine with his comments there, but he did say he hasn't got a particularly good record against West Ham. Apparently, he's only beaten us once, even though Brighton have got this fabulous unbeaten record. Since he came to the club, he's only tasted victory once.
That's actually true, I think. Who was the other bloke? Houghton, wasn't it?
Yeah, Chris Houghton.
He was the manager at the time as well. But no, I mean, our record isn't, whilst we're not beating them frequently, we don't seem to be losing against them much either, do we? He was correct in what he said, you know, we draw. Yeah. We draw a lot, apart from the end of last season when they scored us.
Oh, that was a nightmare, wasn't it? That was, of course, the last. Well, we'll just stick with this for a minute because Brighton have got a corner on our right-hand side. Everyone just 11 minutes gone in the game, still no goals, but chance here for Brighton. Ball's gone deep into the centre, and Lucas Fabianski hasn't even had to do anything. He's just stood on his spot. And now, quite an interesting thing there. Brighton have got possession back. We'll just stick with this for a second because I want to talk about Fabianski's distribution, which is something that was spoken about quite a lot. Well, we've got a bit of a lull in place, so I'll bring it up. Fabianski, Nick, was criticised for not releasing that ball quite quickly enough. Someone was comparing him to Areola the other day, saying that the Frenchman seems to, you know, give the ball or move the ball along a little bit more quickly than Fabianski,
which
helps us speed up our attack. Just seen Fabianski do it there. He's got the ball straight away from that corner and he's thrown it straight out. So I just wonder if maybe Moyes or Nolan has said something to him about that. But that's your interpretation of it as well, is it? That he tends to hold on to the ball a little bit too often?
I think we do that a lot anyway. And it's not just something that could be levelled at Fabianski. You remember when we've been at games, when we've commented on how when we get a throw-in, we seem to dilly-dally on it, and then Cresswell, everyone else has then had a chance. The opposition's had a chance to get into position, and then he's got nowhere to throw it. We never seem to do the quick free kick, the quick throw-in, quick distribution from the goalie. But what I did notice is he did it then, and he did actually throw it straight to a Brighton player.
Yep.
So.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, we'll just come back to the game. We'll come back to that in a second. But West Ham and Brighton on the right-hand side. Bowen's put the ball across to Antonio, who's sort of made a bit of a hack of it, and the ball's come back to Bowen anyway, and the ball's sort of been played into the goalie, and well, I think the referee has actually given offside in him. But it looked like there could be a possible penalty shout because let's have another look at this again. I don't know if you're seeing it. What time you got on your screen, Nick?
I haven't because it's just okay. I'm going to have to try and find another one.
All right, no, there's actually nothing in it. I just wondered if it might be a penalty shout because Antonio's touched the ball away from the Brighton goalkeeper, who's Sanchez, who's just sent him tumbling to the ground. But the flag was up before that, so there's nothing in it. So, but the first real move of intent from West Ham, really, you know, with a bit of pace and acceleration. A lot of people saying on the forum in the last few days that that's what this squad's lacking, is someone who can really get their foot on the ball and you know, and motor through the pitch. We haven't really got, obviously Ad Lingard a couple of years ago gave us that option, but no one really in the squad at the moment who can do that. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that's something we're missing?
I totally agree. We need, I mean, even not so much even with the pace. I mean, Doc H. Ball got it right the other week. We miss a Mark Noble, someone that's got the foot on the ball that can just spray it about from the centre of the park. You know, you don't miss what you've got till it's gone, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he's going to be a difficult player to replace, but I suppose it could be argued with as well, though. Last season we didn't have him. He really played, and we did okay. Apart from, well, let's say we did okay until the new year, and then the wheels kind of fell off. And we've looked pretty passive ever since.
Yeah.
So yeah, we do need a bit of, I can't pronounce these words, athleticism and that one in the middle of the park. Yeah, dynamicism.
I know what you mean.
In the middle of the park.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. I think you need even if you've just got a young player who can give you that. It maybe as someone on the bench who can come in and inject a bit of pace and energy and enthusiasm into the team. But you know, the point was, I guess, that wasn't really our problem last year. Was it scoring goals? It was conceding them, and obviously we've done a lot of work in terms of trying to shore up at the back. Carra's coming, Agard, a couple of really decent signings coming there. But yeah, I'm with you on that one, mate. I think it'd be nice to see someone of that ilk come in. I'm not sure we're going to get one before now, because it looks like Emerson's going to be coming in the next few days, and then I get the feeling that the only player we're going to look to add to the pack now is going to be a central midfielder. So I'm not sure we're going to get one. But anyway.
Although our resident new ITK on on the forum says we are still looking at that. Is it Brocker?
Breuer, the Chelsea forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brozier, whatever his name is.
Yeah. I mean, I you get the feeling with that, don't you? I mean, I don't know anything, but I hasten to add before anyone interprets this as us having any ITK info on this particular subject. But it certainly looks like that's going to be one that's going to go to the last 2 or 3 days, I think, of the transfer window. And of course, I think it's going to be a bit of a. Well, I think everyone's going to be in for him. Villa, Everton, I think are going to be. They obviously need a striker. Newcastle really need someone with a bit of quality. Ourselves, so I think he's going to have his pick of clubs to go to. Well, I mean, do you think that's one we need to bring in? We've obviously brought in Scamacca. You've got Antonio. Do we need a third dedicated striker?
Well, this may sound a bit nuts, but everyone's talking about if we get another striker in as well as Antonio and Scamacca,
Yes.
about we can then start using Antonio out on the wing.
Yeah.
About using Antonio through the middle. He ain't going to, because he's getting older, you see, he ain't going to need to use his. He's still fast. But as a winger, maybe not for me. Maybe he's lost that half a yard of pace.
Okay.
Through the middle, though, with his brute strength, driving the ball forwards, possibly.
So hang on. What do you mean as a 10? You mean sitting behind a front man or a front two? Okay, all right.
Yeah,
all right, it's an interesting suggestion. Let us know. I mean, everyone watching on the stream, let us know what you think of that. Do you think Antonio could do a job, as they say, in that hole behind the front man or even a front two? If we were to bring him, I guess the point is, Nick, it's good to have options, isn't it? If we were to bring Breuer in as well as Scamacca, you can play one or you can play two, and you've still got options to change. So, of course, the only issue is that you've only got a set amount of players you can have in the squad. It's a 25-man limit, and we're up. Where are we? What are we on? 23 now? Is it 23 or 24?
Yeah, I think we're 23 at the moment.
Because Nathan Trott's just gone to Denmark, as he's just joined a Danish second division, or they call it a Division 1 club, but that's their equivalent of the Championship. So that vacates another space. But anyway, we shall see. Jared Bowen's just gone down feeling his right ankle. Seems to be all right. Doesn't seem to be any problems. It's still 0-0, 18 minutes gone. West Ham beginning to get on top of it. But, bar that early chance from Ben Rama and Brighton haven't really had an effort yet, have they, on goal? It's been very, very quiet, which I'm sure will suit the away team so far. Who have we got? Hobo, good to see you, buddy. Metal in both legs is on the stream as well. Hello, Metal. And Mandy also saying, them long balls to Antonio. If we had Scamacca on, he could head them on for the oncoming Antonio. It's kind of what you're saying.
Antonio is a number 10.
Yeah, that's what you're saying, right? That's what you're suggesting. Yeah. Who knows? Be interesting to see. We'll see. What have we got? 10 days is it left of the transfer window? 21st day. Brighton attacking anyway. Welbeck's got into the area. Oh, no, that could be a penalty. Is it a penalty? Yeah, I think he's given a penalty. Yeah. Anthony Taylor points to the spot, and it's our new man Carra who's given away a penalty. Danny Welbeck bursting into the box on the left-hand side. Carra's gone over, just challenged him a bit late. I think it looked to me as if. Now let's have another look at this, because it looked to me like Welbeck thought about staying up for a second. It's actually outside the box. Now, I think if VAR takes a look at this, which it's sure to, the challenge is outside the box and it shouldn't be a penalty. So let's see what happens here. Now, let's see if VAR does its job properly, because I'm fairly certain Taylor's given a penalty. The challenge is outside the box, though. Yeah, he has given a penalty. That much is clear. But the challenge is a good yard outside the box, and we hope, we hope that VAR is going to look at this and give a free kick rather than a penalty. Carra's in the book. What did you make of all that, Nick? Have you had a chance to see?
I've only just caught up with it. I'm seeing it now. No, that was inside the box. To me, that looked like that was inside.
Right, I can tell you, I might be a few seconds ahead of you, but we're just looking at a steal on the screen from VAR showing the challenge, and it is clearly outside. Hello, mate. How are you? You come to watch as well. What did you make of that? Was it outside? This is Alfie, everyone, by the way. He's come to say hello. We're on telly, mate. Look, we're on telly. But hang on a second. No, the penalty has been given. Well, I'm flummoxed by that, because I'm not quite sure what's going on there, because it looked to me like it was outside the box. VAR appeared to show it was outside the box, or has the decision not been confirmed yet? I'm not quite sure what's going on here, but Have you seen the replay yet? Have you seen the VAR still? Have you got it on screen?
I have. It looks, to me, it looks like he catches him just inside the box.
Well, it's a penalty. They've given it. They've given it as a penalty. I'm very surprised at that because it looked like the initial contact was outside. But anyway, here we go. Fabianski, time to earn your money, Lucas. Who's going to be taking the penalty? It's number 10, McAllister, who's going to be taking it for Brighton. Interesting. Craven saying, afternoon, lads, VAR going against us again. Yeah, it's one we're going to have another look at in a bit. But anyway, let's stick with the penalty, see if McAllister can score or Fabianski can. He's had a good success rate against penalties, didn't he, last year? Upsteps McAllister goes to his right, and it's 1-0 to Brighton. It's in the back of the net. Right, team. 60 of you on the stream at the moment. Come on then. Was it a penalty or not? What did you make of it? I mean, I thought it was outside. Nick thought it was inside. VAR's gone with Nick's view. It doesn't matter, Nick, at the end of the day, because we're a goal behind. It's in the back of the net.
No, 2 home games, 2 penalties, both done by both given away by 2 new permanent signings as well. So there's a little stat.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Welcome to the Premier League, Tilo Carra. That's what you're going to be up against. Hobo, talking about the penalty, says Welbeck went down about 10 minutes after the tackle. Yeah, he did seem to go down a bit late, didn't he, Hobo? It looked like he thought about it for a split second, then decided to hit the deck. But I'm still surprised that it's given because we can't hear the comms. Obviously, we've got our streams turned down. But if anyone is watching Now Sports or whatever stream you're watching it on, do let us know what the comms are saying. Did they think it was a penalty? Were they surprised that VAR went against West Ham? But anyway, it doesn't matter. We're a goal behind and we've got it all to do, Nick, once again.
Yep, as per usual. It's got that vibe in it. I said last week, this season just has that horrible vibe to it.
You did.
And I don't like it.
When you're saying horrible, how horrible are you talking? I mean, you're surely you're not thinking about the spectre of relegation again. I mean, not quite that bad.
Well, you don't know. You know, if it stays like this, then what's that? Played 3-1 none.
Yep.
Villa next week, played 4, still potentially 1-0. And then, of course, you know, as much as we can't stand them and stuff like that, this is going to stick in my throat when I say this, is that, you know, Spurs have got a superb team at the moment.
Yep.
You know, I can't see us getting anything from that. And then what? You know, we quite conceivable. And it's not me trying to be a negative Eddie, you know. I'm just trying to look at it objectively. We could, if we don't win today or get something, we could conceivably be on 5 games without a win and then, you know, get out of that, which isn't. It's just got a horrible vibe. Relegation, I don't know. You would have probably said the same thing in 2002, wouldn't you, when we went down?
Well,
you know, what a seat, but you know, we started off with that thumping 4-1, 4-0 loss against
4-0 Newcastle. Yeah.
And then you thought, oh yeah, we'll pick it up. We've got good players, and then it didn't happen.
No, didn't.
So, no, I'm not saying we're going to get relegated, but we've been here before, haven't we?
Yeah, we have, definitely. And see, the problem is, isn't it? If you lose those first 2 or 3 games, then all right, it's a long season, but it's still only 38 games, and you're playing catch up from day one. Especially if you've got, you know, aspirations as West Ham have at the moment to finish in the top 6 or 7 every season. And is there a bit of an expectancy from the fan base as well for us to do that now? We've done it in the last 2 seasons. You think, you know, if we were to finish like lower than 8th or something this year, that the fans would be baying for Moyes' blood?
I don't think so. I mean, I still stand, although this has got this horrible vibe to it so far, it's the start of this season. I'll stand by what I said a couple of days ago in the predictions thread, where I think we'll scrape top 10. On and quite a way behind our points tally of the previous 2 seasons. But if we don't start to turn it around pretty soon, then I may have to reevaluate it. But at the moment, I still think we'll finish top 10. And I think that would be a reasonably successful season because we're in transition. There is no 2 ways about it. You know, Moyes has said it himself that in his interview in The Standard, I think it was this week, that not only have we had players leaving and that need replacing, we've also got starters that are performing nowhere near as good as they were a year to 18 months ago. And I think he was referring to players like Souček, to Kufel. So I'm surprised playing today, Kufel, because he's had a mare the past couple of games, and Johnson's not really put a foot wrong when he's been played out of position. And I would have liked to seen him come in today at right back. But nonetheless, Moyes is sticking to his tried and trusted. But he's going to need it to change soon, because it's not working. Whatever he's doing at the moment doesn't appear to be working.
Well, it's certainly not working today. I mean, we're just waiting. Brighton have got a corner. It's the second corner they've had in the space of about 45 seconds. Just see what happens here. It's delivered in to the 12-yard spot. Free header. It's come out to number 11 from about, it's about 12 yards out. That's Trossard has acres of space, and he tries to just volley it into the corner over Lucas Fabianski, who's prone, just stuck on the spot. Wouldn't have got it if it's on target, but to be fair, I think you have it covered, and the shot from Trossard is well wide. It's on the volley, on the toe, and it stays 1-0 to Brighton. West Ham trying to break down the left-hand side, but Benrahma giving the ball away, and it's just not happening for West Ham at the moment. Dan Robinson says we look completely devoid of any ideas. Yeah, Dan, it's all a bit messy at the moment. Brighton breaking again down the right-hand side with Gross, who's looking to get a corner, and he's won a corner off Antonio. Bizarrely was defending right back at left back there, but bad spell this for West Ham. We just really need to over this.
We seem to have lost our heads. We seem to be absolutely all over the place since the penalty.
Yeah.
We don't seem to have the mental strength that we've had the past couple of seasons. So again, it's those little tiny things where you're joining the dots, and it's like, it's going to be one of those seasons.
Another corner for Brighton from the right-hand side. This time it's at the edge of the 6-yard box. Brighton win the ball. It goes up in the air. Fabianski sort of thinks about coming out to claim it, doesn't, and West Ham have managed to somehow get it clear from Soufal. But West Ham, as Nick says, very much all over the place at the moment. No cohesion in the team. Nothing's really working out there. And Moyes has got some work to do, Nick, half-time. I mean, the way it's going, you'd be quite happy to see us going and break just one down, because we're all over the shop, as Dan says.
I don't know about he's got some work to do at half-time. He's got some work to do now. Where's our talismanic captain at the moment? Why is he not getting everybody to calm themselves down? He doesn't seem to be, from where I'm sitting and from what I can see on this small screen here.
Yeah,
he appears to have been very quiet today, and he doesn't seem to be rallying the troops. We don't seem to know what we're trying to do at the moment. Now, that can be down to Moyes. He's the manager, but our captain is the eyes and ears on the pitch as well. He's been very quiet today.
He's just seen him on the ball, spraying the ball out
only
there.
Just on the ball now.
Yeah. My stream's decided to go on some sort of ever revolving loop for about 10 seconds, but I think we're away anyway. West Ham breaking on the left-hand side. Benrahma looking to pull it over, pulls it back instead to Fornals. Rice waving his hands on the edge of the box, but it stays out on the left wing, and Benrahma's just played it out. I think that's going to be a goal kick. What's he given? Yeah, he's given a goal kick to Brighton. Declan Rice, how much did that penalty miss affect him last week at Forest?
Well, looking at the way he was on a league of their own, didn't affect him too much, did it?
Was that this week? It was on the telly. I did see the clips on Twitter. Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
What did you make of that? You're not a fan? You're not a fan?
League of their own? No, not really.
Well, no, I mean, that as well. But I mean, in terms of our skipper going on a program like that and messing about, as it were.
Oh, he's got a life. He's got things outside of football. I'm not going to have a go at him for that at all.
Yeah.
Good luck to him. I'm not one of these sort of, was having a pop at Lingard because he likes doing his TikTok videos and stuff. And what is it? If it was question of sport and he was a bit more stayed on it, nobody would say a word, would they?
No, totally agree.
It's kind of no different. Probably wasn't wise he was trying to do that overhead kick. He did try and do overhead kick on one of the clips, and I was like, yeah, I think probably not the best idea because that could have gone wrong. But no, I'll see no harm in it. What I would like to see is him do what his predecessor used to do when on games like this: grab the game by the scruff of the neck. Rally the troops.
It's a big ask. We do forget sometimes, even though he's been playing regularly for the last 3 seasons. Excuse me. Still talking about a kid who's only 23. And it's a lot of weight upon his shoulders, isn't it, to ask him to take responsibility? Especially, I mean, I would imagine, like anything, it's great when everything's going well. Like last season, it would have been a wonderful time. I'm sure he would have thoroughly enjoyed it. But when things aren't quite working out like today and at Forest last week, it's a tough ask to ask a 23-year-old to step forward and, as you say, drive the team on. You've got some more experienced pros in the squad that you'd perhaps like to, come to his aid. Cresswell, players like that, Zuma, maybe Antonio.
Yeah, I get that, but then he is the club and team captain at the end of the day. So, it didn't seem to stop somebody who's to me who's got blotted when he was a captain. But we've had a 21-year-old captain lead us out to an FA Cup final in 2006. That also saw us, was captain in a promotion winning side. And one of our best ever finishes in the Premier League. So, no, I don't kind of buy the age group because at the end of the day, he's got the experience. I know he's young, but he's got the experience, and I think it is easy to forget his age. But by the same token, he's been in around the first teams for five years now.
And of course, sorry, go on, Nick. I've got you finished.
So yeah, whilst he is only 23, he is also an experienced pro with nearly 200 games with 200 games under his belt. It's not like he's just come up from the under 23s and been thrown in face first. He's 200. Yeah. That's a lot of experience. And if he's not capable of being a skipper, then give it to one of the more senior pros like Zuma, Cresswell, or whoever.
Okay, fair point.
It's not criticism, by the way.
Yeah, no, it's. I just wondered whether it's it's a big ask for someone of that age. It's but of course Bobby Moore was captain in England at 23, I believe. Nigel Rio-Coker, of course, had his own little bits on the box, didn't he? He did. Was it called My Crib or something? The MTV thing, Pimp My Crib or something like that, where they go around their house. Do you remember that?
Oh no, I don't remember that at all. No.
Been around too long. Yeah, it was like a half-hour show where MTV go in and they look at your house, and it was quite a flash pad. And I think he.
Oh right, okay.
But anyway, we digress. 33 minutes gone. It's West Ham United 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 1. Albion scoring from the penalty spot. McAllister scoring the only goal of the game so far after 22 minutes. After our new signing, Tilo Carra upended Danny Welbeck. I'm still saying it was outside the box, but VAR and referee Anthony Taylor said otherwise. So that's all that matters. And McAllister stepped up to the 12-yard spot and put the visitors 1 up. So at the moment it looks like that hoodoo against the Seagulls is set to continue. Nick, anyway.
So far, I've seen nothing apart from that little Ben Rama chance early doors. I've seen nothing to suggest that it's going to change. We just seem so predictable, and I don't want to sound ungrateful for what Moyes has done the past 2.5 years. But we do just seem totally predictable, devoid of ideas. We look no different to where we did it from Christmas last year onwards, and it's not good. I think the European run has kind of glossed over stuff. It was maybe being used as an excuse for our fault towards the end of last season, but to the start of this season, well, I don't really include the Man City game because they're on a totally different level altogether. But from what we've seen so far here, what we've seen against Forest, and even to some degree against Viborg as well, which is predictable. Somebody said last week we're very passive.
There was a lot
Very
of criticism, actually, of that V-ball game, wasn't there, on the forum? Despite the initial euphoria at having watched West Ham finally win a game this season, there was quite a lot of comment regarding how frequently we gave up possession. I mean, we looked at the stats, didn't we, after the game? And I think it was 50-50. But there were times when V-ball had long passages of play where we just couldn't get the ball. And, you kind of think, well, if we're doing that against a Danish Superliga side, then, it just doesn't bode well for the Premier League. And, of course, that's exactly what we're seeing today.
And whose responsibility is that? These players haven't gone from, European semi-finalists to literally can't get a goal in, what's that now? We're approaching half time.
Oh, jeepers. Yes, we are. We're 9 minutes ago. I've just seen Tilo Carra and Lucas Fabianski go for the same ball. Complete mix-up. Fortunately, it didn't turn out worse. It certainly could have been a lot worse because Carra got to the ball first and Fabianski ended up taking in the German's feet away from him. Unfortunately, it was a Brighton player in close range. But I mean, that just sums up everything that we've been saying, doesn't it, for the last half hour? That's West Ham in a nutshell.
Yeah, why is Fabianski not shouting? Why is he not claiming that ball? Why is he not screaming at the top of his lungs for Carra to leave him? Either that or Carra's just completely ignored him. But I can't. Yeah, I don't know.
Possibly, maybe it could be a bit of nerves on his part. He's already made a mistake, giving away the penalty. Maybe he's just like, I'm going to clear my lines here and whatever. We don't know. Anyway, it's not a good start for West Ham. 37 minutes gone, 8 minutes till half time. We're still a goal behind. Let's have a quick look at the comments. What have we got? Danny Smith saying Moyes sticks with the players, even though Souček hasn't had a decent game in months and has been terrible for longer than that. He won't make subs until 70 minutes. It's all too predictable. And Raymond Bayliss says, I can see Moyes that should be being replaced by Sean Dyche if this continues.
I can't see that. I know our board are absolutely ridiculous at times, but no, I can't see that. Can't see that at all. I was actually talking to a friend last night who's from the north of London, but the red part of Woolwich, about potentials if boys were to go. And he was actually, I was laughing at him because I'm like, he wouldn't come to us, and he's like, but I could see it, and I'm like, who then? And he's like, Pochettino. I'm like, really?
Yeah, unlikely.
He said, yeah, but he's just sort of, wouldn't your ball go for him? Oh, no, I said to him, they'll go for anyone. They probably would. But then got me thinking, though, right? Why not? Why wouldn't he? If he's been given £150 million a season to upgrade the squad and stuff, when he's got players like Rice and Skamaka and German internationals and stuff like that. Because on paper, we should be doing better than we are, surely.
Talking about the squad, I mean, here's the thing, and again, something else that's been mentioned quite frequently on the forum. A lot of people have said that, they're quite happy with the business we're doing. Spent over 100 million. You can't knock that. It's an awful lot of money's been invested in the squad. Well, hang on. We've got Souček going into the box, looking for Antonio. Oh, and he's just been foiled, trying to play the ball through, but defenders wise to it and Brighton can break. It was promising for West Ham for a moment there, but didn't come off. A lot of people saying that, yeah, it's great that we're spending the money. 6 players in. Emerson's going to be number 7 in the next 2 or 3 days, hopefully. Are we seeing the result now, today, out on the pitch and last week against Forest, of that squad not being boosted, say, 6 weeks ago, when the players had an opportunity to come in and gel and bond and work together, as opposed to now? Well, I think what we're seeing here is Forest are experiencing the same issue a bit, Nick, is that you've got a lot of new players out there, clearly talented, they've never played together before. And is that partly the problem here?
I think we can go back. I think we can go back even beyond 6 weeks ago. I think we can go back to January, where nothing was done, and the players we've got have got into the mentality of we lost our full. Again, I've already mentioned it. We lost our way. after January, I think. And we should have done something last January, even if it was just to freshen it up a bit, even if it was a 6-month loan.
Yeah.
But nothing happened. We flogged the same players to death. The losing habits come because if we don't win today, what is it? Something like 1 winning 12 in the league. That is managers getting close to being kicked out, kind of form.
Yeah.
Let's not beat about the bush here. I know I'm not saying get rid of Moyes. I'm not saying that. But under normal circumstances, that would be any club in the league. 1 winning 12, you're going to be looking at your shoulder wondering if that nameplate is going to be coming off your office door because it ain't accepted. It's especially us. And the board aren't going to take kindly. And would kind of make them right. I'm going to take kindly if that sort of form, if they're bunging in over £100 million of the club's money into the team. And as yet, I know it's early days, but as yet, we're the same West Ham that we were from January or December last year, even onwards. And that doesn't bode well for Moyes. And I've noticed in his interviews, he seems to be far more uptight than he usually is. Something doesn't seem right. That's what which is why I say this season has got one of those vibes about it because something doesn't seem right in his body language, the way he's talking, and maybe I'm reading too much into it. But 1 winning 12, that's relegation form. That's a manager clinging on by by the skin of his teeth, kind of form. And if it carries on, then what?
I think you're right. I think if that's in one season, then it absolutely is. But I think he's obviously got the buffer of it happening over the end of last season and also amongst a European campaign as well. But it'll be interesting to watch and see what happens. I mean, we all obviously hope that our fortunes improve, and I expect it to as well. But we shall see. What have we got? Comments. Steve Palmer says, good business perhaps in the transfer league, but definitely far too slow. Danny Smith still Souček not good enough. Had enough of him. Interesting. I mean, you were talking. We'll come back to that at half time, I think, Nick, because we've just come back to the game for the last couple of minutes. But I want to talk about Souček, and you mentioned that effect of players having a really good first season. Something that we've seen a lot of West Ham over the years going. Seb Schemmel was the obvious example of that back in 2002 when he had that great first season and then, was dreadful in the second year. But it seems to be a bit of a malaise that we've had at West Ham. But anyway, the hammer's breaking on the right-hand side. Ball played on the outside to Soufal, who keeps it in play. Can he get a crossover? He can, but I think Sanchez is going to be able to pluck this one out of the air with consummate ease, which he does. Anyone asking how we're watching the game, if you go onto the kumb.com forum, have a look for the streaming thread. You may find a stream or two in there. That's the place to look on the kumb.com general discussion forum. Look for the streaming links thread and you might find some in there. Minute and a half left to go with this first half. West Ham still trailing by that penalty, 1-0. I think, Nick, the only chance I can remember was that Ben Rama shot after 2 minutes. Have I missed anything?
Pretty much all I remember as well, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not good. We've just seen a shot of Maxwell Cornet and Gianluca Scamacca discussing what's going on in the dugout. I'm sure they won't be too pleased. Cornet, of course, has just come off the back of a relegation battle that he lost at Burnley last season. He certainly won't want to be involved in another struggle this year. But anyway, long way to go in this one. It's
going on the match thread on the forum. I mean, it seems to be, and to be fair, I'll give him the dues today. It doesn't seem to be in meltdown. There's some genuine opinions and comments. I love Joy. Something isn't right. We're so easy to play against. That never used to be the case, which in Moyes' tenure so far, it's not Derby Hammer. Brighton looks so comfortable on the ball. We seem to be rush, misplaced pass, or put it where Brighton can nick it off us. Long shot. Rice is captain and £150 million player needs to drag the next 30 minutes by the scruff of the neck. I mean, this is a half hour ago, and pull the team along into this game, which is why I said earlier. People blame Wolf 359. People blame Noble for slowing us down. Any slower, we'll be going backwards. It seems to be a theme, and it's something I think that everyone can see, apart from the bloke that's sitting in the dugout.
Yeah.
Which I don't understand. I don't, and I don't want to. Don't want to feel like that today. I'm just criticising the manager, but it's up to him to try and get a tune.
I'm sure he's perfectly aware of it. I mean, I'm sure he'll be more aware of it than all of us, for sure. I mean, he's working with the players on a daily basis, but of course, it's easy for us not to sit here and pontificate about where everything's going wrong without having the pressure of trying to put it right, isn't it? It's not an easy job, and he's certainly going to be earning his dough this afternoon, because we're in the second. There's 2 minutes added on at the end of the first half. We're in the second now. This will probably be a last chance. West Ham in possession. Be a last chance to send the ball forward and hopefully threaten the Brighton goal. The ball's played all the way across the back line to Sufala, plays it down the line looking for Bowen, who plays it into Antonio, but good tackle by Gross, I think it was, and it's a West Ham throw. We'll just stick with this for a second for the last 30 seconds of this first half. And Sufala's got a throw in 25 yards from goal, looks up, nods his head, shakes his head, and exasperation. Where's he going? Throws it into the box, looking for Antonio. Antonio nods it on. It's not cleared properly by Brighton, but West Ham can't get on the end of it, and it's hooked clear by Brighton's number 11. And I think that will be half time now, unless Brighton go up the other end and score. West Ham scurrying backwards. Brighton attacking on the right hand side. A little bit of danger for West Ham. Got to be careful here. Don't want to concede another one. The ball played to the edge of the box, but Declan Rice does well to intercept, pulls it out of danger, and that is enough for Anthony Taylor. And he signals half-time, 47 minutes and a few seconds. West Ham going to the break, a goal behind. It's not been a good half for West Ham. It's not been a good home Premier League debut, should I say, for Tilo Carra, who's given away the penalty that separates the sides at half-time. Quick match stats for you before we go to Nick for his first half summary. 47% possession to West Ham in that first half, to Brighton's 53%. West Ham 4 shots, none on target. I can only remember the first one. Brighton 6 shots, 1 on target, that being the goal. West Ham 1 corner, Brighton 4 corners. West Ham conceded 4 fouls to Brighton's 5. The stats telling the story, Nick, really, of what we've seen in the first half. West Ham just have not been good enough so far, and Brighton lead deservedly.
No, slow, passive, devoid of creativity, devoid of ideas. Again, quoting somebody else on the forum, they said, when where's it gone? Oh, I've lost it now. It's on another page. No, it's gone. Oh, yeah, Dean, WHU. When Declan looks devoid of belief, you're in trouble. Potter has Moyes' number yet again. And you can't argue with that.
Yeah,
you cannot argue with that. And I wish I was sitting here saying what Stolmer that everyone's having, and Moyes is getting it all spot on and stuff like that. But I'd be lying. That's the thing. I like to think that I'm pretty objective, and I give compliments where compliments are due and praise good performances when they're due, without being too critical. But it's been bloody awful. Let's be honest.
Let's have it right. Let's have it right. Yeah, it's been pretty dreadful stuff, hasn't it, so far?
Yeah, there's no positives. There's no positives to take from it whatsoever. No. Ben Rama seems to be back to his old self. But then, he did have a cracking performance. But again, look at the quality of the opposition. He had a good performance on Thursday.
Yeah.
But again, it's against the opposition. Can only play what's in front of you, but they're not. The Danes aren't exactly Brighton, are they? Done all right against Forest, but yeah, he seems to be back to his old self today. On that note, I'm going to leave you hold to thought a minute while I go and do my ablutions.
Okay, good stuff. I'm going to pop off as well in just a minute, so I'll put us on hold in just a minute. I'll wrap up first half, and I shall see you on the other side, mate. For
Will do.
Part 2. half time. West Ham United 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 1. Let us know what you think. Let's have your comments. Let's have your thoughts on the live chat down there, just underneath. Let us know what you think. The key point I think that I really wanted to discuss is that penalty decision. Obviously, Anthony Taylor felt immediately it was a penalty for the foul by Carra on Danny Welbeck, pointed immediately to the spot. VAR checked it. I was on this stream quite happy that it was going to be changed to a free kick on the edge of the box, and it wasn't. And we saw the steal, didn't we? We even saw the steal that appeared to show the challenge happening just outside, or at least on the penalty on the line. And it was allowed to stand, which I'm kind of a bit befuddled by. It's slightly unfathomable, but anyway, it doesn't matter. The penalty stood. What did you think? You've all seen it, or most of you have seen it. If you haven't, then obviously you'll probably get a chance a bit later. But if you have seen that penalty decision, what did you make of it? Do you think West Ham were hard done by? Did you think it was a free kick, not a penalty? Did you think that it wasn't a foul at all? Let us know. Let me have your comments below while we wait for Nick to come back for the second half. Some thoughts on what Nick was saying just a few moments ago. Steve agreeing, yeah, it seems reasonable. It seems a reasonable summary to me. Dioe says, and Hobo says, yeah, I think Nick's correct. Something isn't right. Definitely don't seem to be playing, at our best at the moment. That's for sure. I'm not firing on all cylinders at all. I mean, the fact that we haven't had a shot on target in the first half in that first half is testament to that, I think. Also, what would you do? What would you do at half time? Would you bring on Scamacca? Would you bring on Cornet as Ben Rama being a little bit quiet? So of course he was fabulous against Forest. I felt it was one of the best games I've ever seen him play for West Ham. But maybe you think it's time for a change. We have got options on the bench, of course, today, which is good for a change. There are players we can bring on. What do you think? Let's just looking at the bench, we've got Johnson, Scamacca, Lanzini, Downs, Areola, Cornet, Ogbonna, Coventry, and Ashby. So we do have some options available there. Is it the right time to bring on? Should we go early? Should we just see how the first 15, 20 minutes of the second half pan out and let us know? Dan Robinson says, hopefully some urgency in the second half. Well, hopefully something, anything, Dan. I mean, we've just been devoid of any sort of inventiveness, haven't we, in that first 45? And it's very concerning. I mean, you could understand it against Man City. Obviously, the gulf in class and quality between us and who are probably the best club team in the world was patently clear. And you're not too bothered about that. Forest, I think, we were at Forest last week, and I think the overriding feeling from everyone there was that we could have been playing, that game could have carried on until this weekend and we still wouldn't have scored. It was just one of those games where we just couldn't put the ball in the net, but we played quite well. I think we were definitely the better side and created the better chances. But today it's concerning. I think what we've all seen in the opening 45 minutes is worrying from West Ham. No shots at goal, no shots on target, and players just looking like they've never played together, which I suppose to some degree is quite accurate in terms of Carra, who's coming to the side. What are your thoughts on that? We said at the start that Nick and I thought it was a good idea to put him in today, but he's come in and a little bit slow on the challenge and conceded a penalty. Do you think it was the right decision to start him in retrospect? Do you think maybe we should have played Johnson instead at centre half? Let us know. Mandy says that why is Fornells on the left side when we have Cresswell and Benny over there? Take off Souček and move Fornells central and get Scamacca on. Do you agree with what Mandy's saying or disagree? Is there something else you'd like to see us do? Let us know. Need to replace Souček. And is that Cian? Apologies, or Sean. Is that if I've pronounced your name incorrectly, I do apologise. But saying that we need to replace Souček and Cresswell. I'm quite sure why Cresswell is coming for criticism. I'm not sure he's done anything particularly wrong, is he, in the first half? But maybe I've missed something. Let us know. Souček out says someone else with an Arabic name, which unfortunately I'm unable to read. And Manny says, we don't need him on the left side. Fornells, I presume that is. Lots of interesting observations there and options. We are going to be back very, very soon for the second half. I'm going to take a quick break. Just going to go and wet the whistle. Hello, you can come on and say hello. Come on in. Someone's coming to get me. Look. Rubbish, mate. You've missed it. You've not missed much. Though. It's been terrible. I'm going to jog off for 5 minutes with young Alfie here. We're going to we're going to go and get some refreshments, and I shall be back very shortly, and see you on the other side. Until then, we'll see you very soon. Hello. Welcome back for the second half of our stream, hopefully.
Hello.
There we go.
I was here.
Awesome. Yeah, we're still waiting for the second half to begin. For those of you turning up late, it is West Ham United nil, Brighton and Hove Albion 1 at half time. The hat's gone on because I'm reckoning that's bad luck. So we're going for the lucky hat, hopefully to bring us a bit more joy in the second half. There's the stats up on the screen. West Ham 235 passes to Brighton's 266. West Ham 190 successful passes to Brighton's 211. The rest of the stats we bought you. Nick, what have we got to do in this second half to get back into this game?
He needs to mix it up a bit, because quite clearly what he's doing at the moment isn't working. I would suggest maybe going 2 up top. Keeping Rice in the middle and Fornells in the middle. Take off Souček and bring on Cornet to give us a little bit of pace and ingenuity and some fresh ideas. Quite wise left Soufal as well. We've got 5 subs. I'd like him to use them all today, not straight off, but something's got to give. It's got to be book it or F it kind of thing, because it's not working. It's looking like we have done throughout 2022. Only now we can't use the excuse of tiredness or, too many European games and stuff like that. Some of us were saying that, but giving them benefit of the doubt because of tiredness and the European games. But without that, bearing in mind we've only had 1 European game, and in half of that, the team that started on Thursday didn't start a previous league game and have started today. So it's not as if we've got players that started Thursday that are playing tonight. Not many.
Yeah.
I'm reading on the forum, Souček needs a rest. He's tired. We're 3 games into the season. What was he doing throughout the summer? Was he not resting? He's a professional athlete at the end of the day, and he is still covering the ground. He doesn't look tired. He just doesn't look very good. And again, you need to remember, he was bought in, not a side with top 6, 7, 8 aspirations. He was bought in, to strengthen a side that was just above the relegation zone. Maybe despite him having that great year or so, maybe he ain't good enough for us anymore.
Interesting. Well, I mean, we touched on that, didn't we, at the end of the first half, talking about players who come in and have a terrific first season. Soufal, very much the same, was outstanding in that first season and has sort of struggled to replicate that sort of form, hasn't he? But maybe you're right. I mean, well, let us know what you think. I mean, he's one player, isn't he, that we see criticised more than any. I mean, you've had to step in to the transfer, Fred, in the last 24 hours to tell everyone to stop talking about Thomas Souček so much, comparing him to McTominay at Manchester United. So he's obviously generating a lot of discussion amongst the fan base. He's out there again now, though. He's starting again. Doesn't look particularly happy. But yeah, 45 minutes to go for West Ham to get back into this game and if not win it, at least rescue a point and put some points in. I mean, Nick, let's be honest, it'd be nice to score a goal, wouldn't it? It's, we're 2.5 games and we haven't seen score a Premier League goal yet.
I don't think we're 2.5 games in. We've not made an opposition, the opposition keeper pull off a proper save yet, have we?
There might have been 1 or 2. Well, I don't know. I guess if you look at last week, the best chances we had hit the post, and you would say that Johnson didn't have to make a save at all. It was beaten on both occasions. So you could well be right. Yeah, it's quite possible. But it's not been great. There's David Moyes looking quite pensive on the sideline. Obviously, had a bit of a chat. I'm just trying to see if there's any changes been made. I don't think there have
No.
so far. We are underway again. Can you see any changes, Nick, in the...
No, it doesn't look like it.
No.
It doesn't look like it at all. So we're going with the same 11 that created a grand sum of zilch in the first half.
We've got a free kick, 25 yards from goal on the left-hand side. Fornals and Cresswell over the top of it. Come on, boys. What can we do here? I get the feeling it's going to be Fornals. Then again, it could be Cresswell. A little outswinger over the 12-yard, over the edge of the penalty spot. It is Cresswell. There it goes. Headed on by Declan Rice, and we've made a bit of a hash of it, but it's fallen to Carra, I think that is, who's trying to barge his way through. No, it's not Carra, sorry, it's Ben Rama, trying to barge his way through the Brighton rear guard, but unable to do so. And West Ham a throw in. Still in possession out on the left-hand side anyway. Declan Rice with the ball. I'm going to jump in a minute, actually, Nick, to the Brighton forum, North Stand chat, because just wanted to have a quick look at what they were saying. Obviously, they're quite happy with what they've seen in the first half, but just stick with this for a minute because we've got the ball. It's on the right-hand side. Pablo Fornals keeps it in play and wins another throw-in.
Quite on the same wavelength there as
Better start from West Ham anyway. We've come out looking lively.
We have, but we came out at the start of the first half looking lively.
We did.
Yeah, no, then it tailed off. We need an early goal, the old cliche. If Brighton get the early goal, it's going to be game over, isn't it? They say that the next goal's the most important. It's really only important if it's us. It gives us a bit of hope. If it's Brighton, then we. I mean, we all. It's only a 1-goal deficit, but to be honest, we already look dead and buried. It's pedestrian.
Well, we certainly don't look like a team that's capable of scoring 2 goals, do we, at the moment in a match, let alone 45 minutes. But all this can change. I mean, let's not forget. It's only 3 months ago we were in the opposite position at the Amex. We were 1-0 up there at half time and ended up losing 3-1. So fingers crossed we're about to see a reverse of that. But anyway, West Ham still in possession. Look, started brightly. Haven't really threatened Sanchez's goal yet, but decent start anyway. That's what we need to see. Brighton forum, North Stand chat. Just having a quick look at their comments. Just to read a couple of those. This is an interesting one. Watford 0. Says, for a long time, I thought, what if we had a striker like Michail Antonio in our squad? And then he says, would I swap Danny Welbeck for Antonio now? No way. Well, it doesn't actually say no way, but I can't tell you exactly what he said. Carra's just done well to dispossess Welbeck, by the way, in our penalty box. Brighton looking dangerous for just a moment there, but West Ham averting the danger. What have we got? It's actually very quiet on the Brighton forum. Not many people commenting. Either they're all at the game or they're so shocked that they're winning they're unable to say anything. Couldn't be hippier. Says, I can't see West Ham being so slack in the second half, but they did play on Thursday, so keep it clean until 70, then hit them with pace off the bench to push them back. Come on, Albion. Old boy Roy says, a comfortable first half, expect them to come out of the blocks after a Moyes rant. And Popeye adds, we are bossing this one so far, but I'd feel better if we could get an early goal to really put it to bed. Also, hats off to Welbeck again. He really is key to how we want to do things. A lot of support there. I wasn't aware he was so keenly thought of down at the Amex.
When you've had the start of the season like Brighton has, I defy any club to not be behind their manager when you go and you stuff Manchester United 4-0. What was their last result? That was a draw, wasn't it? Their last one.
But they got 4 points. Yes, they must have done.
Yeah, and they're currently beating European semi-finalists 1-0 on their own patch. They've got. I can't see they'll have much to complain about with their start to the season, really.
No, it's going well. Graham Potter doing a fabulous job down there. Brighton have a free kick, pretty much in an identical position to where West Ham's was just a few minutes ago. It's played into the box. West Ham managed to get it clear, and once again it comes to nothing. 2 set pieces really didn't threaten either goal there in the first 5 minutes of the second half, but it was Vladimir Soufal who managed to hook it clear, but Brighton have a throw in. Let's just stick with this for a minute and see if anything comes of it. Doesn't, West Ham have a throw in now. So 5 minutes gone in the second half. It is West Ham United 0, Brighton 1. Substitutions, Nick, what time do you think Moyes is going to look to bring someone on if it doesn't change here?
92.
Earlier than usual, then.
Yeah. Nothing's changed. Oh, how far are we in?
5 minutes.
5 minutes in, but yeah, it's exactly the same, isn't it? I'll be doing it now. But then I'm not a Premier League manager.
Well, I mean, interestingly, almost on cue.
Here comes Skamaka.
There he is. Skamaka's warming up. Yeah. What did you make of his performance on Thursday night against Viborg?
It was nothing out of the extraordinary, was it? It wasn't poor. It wasn't bad. It was an okay-ish home debut, really, like full home debut. So, I'll give him benefit of the doubt. I'll give him time. He certainly got stuff in his, again, another cliche, but he certainly got stuff in his locker. So, hang on, we're on the attack here down the right with Bowen. Sufal tries to get the ball in. It's charged down. Hoists it over. And Declan Rice is passing it to Ben Rama. Comes back out to Rice. He's now trying to take it central, and he's got it in the rosette.
But we've won a corner.
Oh, it came off of one of their players. So there we go.
I think it's a good deflection. Well, there you go. You were calling for Rice to take the game by the scruff of the neck, and that's a perfect example of him doing just that, I suppose. But good break by West Ham there, Nick. Promising. Bowen absolutely roasting his defender for pace there. I think he was a good yard or two behind when they started that sprint, but beating with ease. So good stuff. We're just waiting for the corner to take place. Thomas Souček's unhappy about something. Pablo Fornals is standing in front of Sanchez. Brighton's defender is getting a bit of a grilling from Anthony Taylor. That's Brighton's number 25, who is Saucedo. But anyway, corner's coming over, delivered to the near post. Cresswell! I thought that was going in for a minute. Hang on, we're still on the attack.
That was Bowen, wasn't it? Made that challenge. No, Ben Rama. Oh, Antonio just misses out, but that was shocking from. Was that Cresswell?
I think that's going in the net from Cresswell. Yeah, it's goal bound. That's going in. If it isn't blocked, I think that's ripping the net.
Yeah.
Outside of the foot, I think. Yeah, outside of the foot, going top corner. Unfortunately, Veltman got his rather large frame in the way and
right in the side of the head. Actually, that must have smarted.
Yeah, well, that's what you want your defenders to do, I suppose, isn't it? By hook or by crook, you got to stop the ball.
His ear rolls are probably still ringing after that one.
Yes. 53 minutes gone. West Ham 0, Brighton 1. Still looking for that equalising goal. But it's encouraging. To be fair, I think, Nick, you got to say these first 8 minutes of the second half, we've probably done more in that short period than we did in the entire first half, really.
We have, but there is always a but. It still doesn't seem to be particularly organised. Although saying that, Ben Rama's now, what's he doing? He's now running through the middle. Nice little bit of one-touch football there. Crossing from Cresswell. Oh, who was that? That was
Souček. Tommy Souček. Close again. Ball played down the left-hand side. Cresswell putting a lovely, tempting delivery in, and Souček, unfortunately, it's just a bit too low for him to get his head on it. He's come to him at sort of knee height. Which to him is sort of ankle height, but
but did it come off him, or is that a corner there?
Well, I think they've given a corner, haven't they?
Given a corner, yeah. To be fair, that was off the Brighton player.
Yeah, good defending once again. Good defending. Cresswell with the corner delivers it deeper this time. Sanchez, easy one for Sanchez to rise and pluck out of the air though, and West Ham lose the initiative. But yeah, a good start. Two good opportunities there. Cresswell. That shot goal bound, and Souček, you would have put your money on him to score there, Nick, wouldn't you, if the defender hadn't sort of got in the way? Just sorry, cutting in again. Skamaka's now receiving instructions from Kevin Nolan, so he's going to be coming on very, very shortly.
I feel sorry for Skamaka actually, because he's got a choice of trying to understand a Scottish accent or a Scouse one. Can't be easy.
Yeah. Yes. Welcome to British football.
Yeah.
10 minutes gone in the second half. West Ham knocking on the door, but unable to scored just yet. Still a goal behind to that 22nd minute penalty from McAllister after new man Tilo Carra conceded a penalty. Or at least VAR said they did. Wasn't so sure. West Ham back in possession now.
Something I've noticed about Kevin Nolan when he's in interviews and stuff like that is he looks like he's about to cry, doesn't he? When he's in between words and stuff like that. He pulls this face where he looks like he's about to burst into tears. I don't know if you've ever noticed it, but next time you see him in an interview, he does this look where he looks like he's about to start crying.
Like a slightly sort of pained expression on his face. Like narrow eyes and that sort of thing.
It's the mouth. It's the way he holds his mouth sometimes.
Yeah. I had the good fortune to interview Nobby, as he was known a couple of times when he was still a player.
Oh, good footwork there from Benny. Sorry.
Yeah, no, carry on.
He's now breaking down the left. This is a good run from Benny, and his final ball was just, it goes all the way out to the other side of the pitch, no one there, and it's gone out for a throw-in.
I hate to say it, but that was almost the Ben Rama of last season returning with a vengeance. Good,
does all the hard work, and then
yeah, and the end product is risible. But Brighton have a throw in as a result of that. Rather, who was he aiming for? There was no one there, was there? You kind of get
absolutely no one. He didn't lift his
head.
He didn't
even look up. There was no one within about 15 yards of that cross. But anyway, good stuff, I suppose. At least he's getting into good positions. Ginger Bob says, "How much a pint today? How much are you paying for a pint today, Nick?"
I'm on coke, mate.
Oh, there you go.
Look,
no,
the
it's
can.
about £6.
The can type. I used to it.
Skamaka's about to come on. Bob, they reduced the prices, didn't they, ever so slightly?
So looking at the price of coke in the stadium, you'd expect at least £half a for that, wouldn't
you? Yes, I wouldn't possibly know. Skamaka's coming on in just a minute, but West Ham attacking now with a bit of intent. Antonio, ball in front of him, plays it out right to Fornals. Fornals on the edge of the box. Fornals shoots. Good save by Sanchez. Straight at Sanchez, to be fair. Didn't have to do a lot, but this is much, much better from West Ham. This is what we should have been doing from the start in the first half, and but it's good to see anyway. We've got there at last. And Danny Smith says, we have had a shot on target. So we have, Danny. About time as well.
But it begs the question, why have we not been doing this before? It's all very admirable that we're picking it up and we're showing a lot more intent. Why weren't we doing this in the first half? Why did the manager instruct us to sit back?
Well, we'll never know. But whatever he said at half time seems to have had the desired effect anyway, because West Ham very much on the front foot at the moment. Of course, Brighton, safe in the knowledge that they're a goal ahead. They don't need to bomb forward and take risks at the moment. So it's probably a little bit of both. But yes, Danny, nice to see us have a shot on target anyway. Neil Chapman, the one for you, Nick, says that if we carry on with the results the way they're going, Moyes is going. With our new signings, he's still sticking with last year's side. What do you make of that?
If it carries on, I think there is an argument to be had, and I would imagine that GSB and K would have to be having that discussion, because as harsh as it sounds, whilst there should be, football at the end of the day is a results game, and if we ain't getting the results, then something needs to change. And when you're spending like this summer, and it could be argued, well, we're spending 100 million this summer because we didn't spend nothing in January. But the facts remain, we're spending over 100 million pounds this summer, and he's not really playing the new starters. Carra got chucked in because we ain't got nobody else. If Dawson was fit, if we hadn't sold Diop, would he have got a game today? No.
No, of course not. No.
The only one I think that may have got a game would have been the bloke who's injured. He's the only one of our new signings I think that Moyes would have started from, against Man City.
Yeah.
The others, no idea. I don't think they would have started. And whilst it's worked with players like Bowen and stuff like that, when you've got players that have been out of form since for almost a year now, 9 months. It needs to be mixed up. We've been bemoaning the fact we haven't had alternatives, and now we've got them. We need to use them. Simple as that, and not for the last half hour in a game. Especially now we can use 5 subs.
Well, as you were alluding to there, we are about to use one of those. Gianluca Scamacca is receiving his instructions and he's about to enter the fray. We've just gone over the hour mark, just come up to 61 minutes. Still West Ham United 0, Brighton 1. Clever Trevor says David Moyes is 33-1 for the sack. Probably a little bit early for that, but gives you some sort of indication of where the bookies feel that one is at the moment. But we're just waiting for Scamacca to come on. West Ham, asking questions, but not really putting any deep pressure. We just saw Solly March break down the right hand side and try a shot from a very, very acute angle, which was easily saved by Lucas Fabianski, who immediately launched an attack. So that seems to be a bit of a tactical switch today, where Fabianski is being told to push forward as quickly as possible. Looks like Pablo Fornals is going to be the man coming off. Indeed, he is. That's an interesting substitution. Now,
see, I would have done Souček and brought Fornals back, and had Antonio more as the number 10, so that you've got either one of them to hold up the ball, either Scamacca or Antonio.
Is this a front two, Nick? Now,
it could well be. It could well be, but we've just taken one of our most creative outlets off. So they're saying on my stream here that Ben Rama's now in the number 10, and here we go, offside.
Yeah, that's poor from Ben Rama. Really is poor. In a really good position there, played in by Scamacca, and just not watching the line. And this is the old frustrating Ben Rama on, isn't it? We've got here. We've also got a change about to happen for the visitors, and it's their new signing, Estupinan, who's a player that West Ham were looking at quite a lot over the last year or 18 months or so. Very, very highly rated. He's coming on for March. So a couple of changes, Nick, but it'd be interesting to see what happens, to see if that is a front two we're going to play there, or whether Antonio is going to push perhaps slightly wider on the left, and with Ben Rama coming inside to play behind Scamacca.
It does look like Ben Rama has come on the inside there, which I guess to me seems again a kind of a waste. The irony is, it's the same as what happened when we signed Lingard. Is we previously got rid of the player that would have worked superbly well with Lingard in Haller. Yeah. And it's pretty much now where we need a nice creative number 10. And from what I've seen when he's played for other clubs, we've just sent him out on loan, which is Vlasic.
Yeah.
Because of, it's only YouTube highlights and reels, but I did spend a little bit of time over the summer checking out what our players were like, just at one times like this. I had a little bit more of an idea of what they were like, and I know I can only come to a judgment on their highlights, but he looked very good to me as a number 10, and looked totally wasted out there playing out on the left. So again, somebody like him with Scamacca I think could well have worked. But I'm not the manager.
No, that's it. David Moyes disagreed.
He's gone now. So it's just a case of waiting and seeing. I'm trying to think who we could bring on for Ben Rama. Cornet, I suppose. He's the only one that we've got on the bench, isn't he?
Looked lively, didn't he, the other night against Viborg, and looked obviously got the assist for the goal, but looked sharp. And I think both you and I are big fans of his, aren't we? We both felt that he was a decent player down at Burnley. But anyway, 64 minutes gone. Still West Ham United 0, Brighton 1. The Hammers behind to a 22nd minute penalty. New signing Tilo Carra giving the ball away, giving the penalty away, should I say? Having a mare there. And McAllister scoring for Brighton. The Hammers desperately need something from this game. It would be unthinkable, wouldn't it, to go 3 games with out of point at the start of the season, having played Forest.
It's not looking good, because I've just had a notification on my phone. Trossard has scored for Brighton, so that's 2-0. That's going to be game over.
Okay, well, we'll wait to see it here on our stream. I guess if that's going to happen, it's been coming up very, very, very soon. Let's have a look. Trossard indeed scores 66 minutes, so it's going to happen right now in the next 30 seconds or so on our stream. Ball's played in. And he's clean through. He's got between the defence and he's just going to roll it beyond Fabianski, and that is 2-0 to Brighton. And West Ham are in desperate, dire straits now with 24 minutes to go, Nick.
Yeah, that's it. That's game over. That is game over. Played 3, 1-0, lost 3, and as things stand, goals 4-0, goals against 5. It's not looking clever, is it?
No, that's it's sort of gone beyond disappointing now, isn't it? I think you'd say. But let's have a look here, and West Ham's defence. I had no idea where Tilo Carra is almost playing left back now. Where's Cresswell? Let's have a look at this again, because Carra is nowhere to be seen. Zuma goes to make the challenge on the play. Now, who's the ball played into? Is that? I've no idea who's tracking Trossard. I mean, nobody. Soufal is the nearest one to him, and he's about 10 yards away. Tilo Carra is gone missing on the left-hand side, pretty much covering the left-back slot. Aaron Cresswell is 10 yards up the field. I think when we lost possession, he was in a slightly advanced position, as is the way our fullbacks do when we're in possession. But it's and in fact, actually, Nick, it's pretty reminiscent of Man City's second goal last week when
very, very much so, almost a carbon copy.
Yeah.
Almost a carbon copy. It's worrying. The way we're playing is worrying. Even when we're on top, we don't even look like scoring. And then bang.
Yeah.
They go on the other end and score.
Yeah. Incredibly disappointing. Brighton attacking, looking for a third now. The ball's played out wide. He's actually taking the mickey, I think, a bit now, but the ball was played out wide to Brighton's number 7, who is March, who's scooped it over the bar. He's completely got his lines wrong. But West Ham all over the place, completely at sea, and it certainly looks like, and barring a miracle or an amazing comeback, this one's gone now. Let us know what you think watching live on the stream. Can we somehow? Is there any personnel on the bench that you'd like to see brought in to change this? Is it gone now? Or are we looking at 3 out of 3, or can West Ham force their way back into it? Interestingly, Chelsea are 3-0 down at Leeds, so it's not just us who are having a bad time today. But not that makes things any better, Nick.
No, not at all. But what it's going to be one of them seasons where the only smiles we're getting is when our London rivals are being dumped by Leeds United. Looks like then went on, after 3 games and we're looking like that, we've got to take anything we can get really for a little bit of satisfaction. Another question needs to be asked is our super duper right winger, since he's England cap, has not been showing the form he did of last season either, is he?
I think he did all right on Wednesday. He looked like he rediscovered his spark a bit, but in terms of the Premier League games, he's been absolutely out of it. Yeah, I mean, the first 2 games he was dreadful, completely anonymous at Forest last week. He's had a couple of moments today, hasn't he, where he's sort of had good runs, got into the box, but just made the wrong choice. I wouldn't say he's our worst player today. I think if you're looking at the wide men, I'd say Ben Rama's got a lot more questions about him today, which is a shame because he played so well against Forest last week. But yeah, I mean, we are at 6s and 7s at the moment. Brighton could be on for a 3rd goal here, the way they're playing. We are all over the shop. Declan Rice has just conceded possession on the edge of our box, which is unheard of, quite frankly. Yeah, you get this. This could be worse. You fear for West Ham, given the way we're playing here, and something's got to change. Not quite sure what it is, but we need to do something different. And time is rapidly running out.
At times, yeah, you're right. It is running out. How long we got? 20 minutes now, plus stoppage time. I think if anyone's going to score, it's most likely going to be Brighton. I think. Because that's just, we just don't look. We could play another 90 minutes, and I just can't see us scoring.
No, not looking good.
it's not looking good, and I don't like to say it, but questions will be asked about the manager and what he's going to do to change it. Oh, that was a nasty one from Cresswell.
Yeah, he's going to get booked for this.
That was late.
Yep. Both players down on the floor, hurt, March and Cresswell, but Cresswell's gone in the book. The first booking today, I think, Nick, isn't it?
I think it
He's
might
actually
be,
quite lucky there.
No, Carra got booked, didn't he, for the penalty?
Oh, of course he did. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah. Yeah. Second West Ham.
That was nasty. That was
no frustration, perhaps, from Cresswell. Cornet's coming on anyway. Can tell you that much. Just about to make an appearance, and Lanzini.
A little bit lucky there that weren't a red, you know.
Can you imagine the forum if he had got another red card? It'd been like his third red card in about 6 games or whatever it would have been. It would have been meltdown, but
yeah,
fortunately not. Brighton attacking on the left-hand side, looking to get a third. They're inside the box. Shot comes in, but it's cannoned off of Thomas Suchek right up into the air, and West Ham clearing their lines through Thilo Kehrer, who just concedes possession and gives it straight back to Brighton. Just having a quick look at some of your comments now. Mr. Mace says, I said last week, this is a relegation team, and people said I was mad. Well, tell me who will be playing like this. The team looks dead. It certainly isn't a relegation team. I mean, this is the team that finished 6th just over a year ago and 7th last year. And it's been improved, but they're certainly not playing with any verve or threat at all. It's something's clearly not right there at the moment. I mean, we kind of felt we've often said it, Nick, haven't we, that since Lingard went, we've lacked that, and we said it at the start of the stream, didn't we? We've lacked that pace through the centre. I mean, you and I were sitting there in Frankfurt not so many weeks ago, absolutely dumbfounded that the ball was just being played from left to right and then played down the flanks, and with no one picking the ball up and driving at the opposition defence. And we've not we've not changed that this summer, or at least so far we've not looked to change it, which just seems a bit odd to me, that we just we don't seem to look for a player of that ilk.
No, I don't get it. That's what I'm being totally befuddled about it. Totally befuddled as to why we're not looking for somebody. What about is the Belgian bloke not a player of that ilk?
Well, I mean, but the thing is, he's 30 years old and he's not exactly known for his pace. So I don't think he's going to give you what Lingard was capable of providing. I think he's going to be more like, from what I can gather and from what little I've seen of him, he appears to be more like a Noble, in the sense that he's exactly what you were talking about earlier. He's capable of getting his foot on the ball, holding it up and bringing others into play, which is what this is. We all joked about Mark Noble last season, but everyone's made the point so far this season. This is what we've missed: someone to actually put their foot on the ball in the centre and just steady it and just say, right, let's just retain possession for a minute or two and just see where it takes us. We've the possession stats say it all, don't they? We've not seen any of the ball.
While we've been chatting, Kufell's down and getting treatment. Looks like Ben Johnson's about to come on. I didn't see what he did actually in order for him to need treatment. Did you catch that?
I didn't see what it was, but we are making a triple substitution now, aren't we? I can tell you that much. I don't know if Soufal is going to be one of those. Johnson, Cornet and Lanzini all coming on to the pitch. So is that going to be Carra, I would imagine, having a breather, unless it's Zuma, who, of course, hasn't looked particularly fit at any point really this season, or for some considerable time, actually. Antonio, it's coming off, says Dan. Dan probably. Yeah. We're just waiting to see who the other two coming off are.
Next player on.
Looks like Soufal is being helped off. Doesn't look comfortable at all. So I'd imagine that Johnson it's going to be a straight swap there. Unless Johnson goes in at centre half and Carra goes in at right back. But I wouldn't imagine they would do that. I would imagine this will be a straight swap. Johnson's coming in for Soufal. And it's Ben Rama also who's coming off. So Antonio, Ben Rama and Soufal off. Johnson, Cornet and Lanzini on. That's 5 subs now for today. Not Benny's day, Nick, at all. He's not been at the races.
No,
has he?
it's not. He's reverted to type, sadly, and it's not digging him out. There is. See, the thing is, when I criticise a player, I do so with a heavy heart because I don't like doing it. I'm one of the ones on the forum, but I've kind of calmed it down. The amount of arguments I used to get when players like Cole and whatever else were getting pelters, and in the end, I kind of gave up because I didn't want to be seen as one of these players that would defend their players no matter what.
Yeah,
and I'd love to be sitting here right now talking about how wonderful Ben Rama is. I'd love that, rather than saying that he's reverted to the Ben Rama of the previous 18 months, where his bad games far outweigh the good.
Mm.
But saying that can be said about too many of our players now. Way too many of our players, where the good games outweigh the bad games outweigh the good. Antonio,
why is that? Why is that, Nick? Is it complacency of having finished 6th and 7th? They think they're better than they are. Are they not working as hard as they did in the last 2 seasons because they think they've made it? What's the problem? Why is that?
I think it's some players who were playing beyond their abilities for, especially the season we finished 6th.
Yeah.
But mate, that was a season like no other, wasn't it? Really, it started off with, in COVID with no supporters and stuff, and we seem to be galvanised through that. And I think we've relied for too long now on team spirit and togetherness. That seems to have gone. I mean, I just watching now. Look, our defence again is all at sea. That could have been
3. Should be 3-0. March completely
3-0.
unmarked there. Free header, and he's missed the target. That's a sitter.
There's just no organisation. We're all over the place. We are.
Here's a question for you. Let me throw this one at you. Declan Rice, 150 million pound player, so we're told. West Ham have done all they possibly could to keep him this season. He's been such an influential figure at the club for the last year. Should we have sold him in the summer?
You know my answer to that one.
I do, which is why I'm asking you now, because I know it's going to stir up a little bit of controversy.
Yeah, I think we should have cashed in on him like we don't do. Because I don't think I've said this time and time again on the forum, I don't think he would actually be, for a club like us, particularly difficult to replace because of what £150 million could do to strengthen the entire team, as opposed to look for a like-for-like Declan Rice.
Yeah,
150 million quid, even in this day and age, would still build you for a mid-table club, which is what we are. The last 2 seasons have been an anomaly, all right? We've done very well, and I wouldn't change it for the world. But then there's also the thought as well, is I don't think Declan Rice is a £150 million player as long as I've got a hole in my bottom.
Okay.
Because I don't think he's worth that. Just because the likes of Man United have paid £80 million for Harry Maguire and, Grealish has gone for 100 million. I'm sorry, but he ain't worth an extra 70 million over Maguire or an extra 50 mil over Grealish.
Yeah.
It's only because Moyes has said that we've got this 150 mil over his head. I'd let him go for anything from 70 million upwards.
Okay.
Personally, and invest it wisely. But saying that, we've just invested 100 million, and we're on the end of a 2-0 spanking by Brighton. So and that's with Declan Rice in the team.
Well, the reason I'm bringing it up right now is because and it's not just Declan. I'm not hanging him out to dry here at all. And we know how influential he's been for the club in the last 18 months. But I think what we're seeing from him is sort of typical of what we're seeing across the entire squad. Just not being at the races. Don't know why. Don't know what it is. But we mentioned it about 15 minutes ago, didn't we? Conceded possession on the edge of the box. When have you ever seen Declan Rice do that before?
No.
It's so out of character, and you can look at every single player in this squad so far, and you can say, well, just what's going on this season. We're just not replicating the sort of form that has served us so well over the course of the last 18 months to 2 years, and difficult to put a finger on it.
I just think we've been sussed. I think, to be honest, we've sussed, other managers have sussed us out. And
I don't buy that.
You don't.
No,
but when you're doing the same thing week in, week out,
Yeah.
it can't be that difficult to work us out, sure.
No, but I mean, the point is, what I'm saying with that, Nick, is, and I do hear that argument a lot, but I think that, especially today, where Premier League managers spend so much time assessing the opposition before a game, I don't think you can say that it takes 30 games or whatever a season to suss out a team or to figure out how they're going to play. They watch so many replays of all our games. They watch, there's cameras trained on each player, so you can see exactly what each player's role in an opponent's team is. So that's why I'm not sure that really carries any weight now. I think the problem is us. I don't think it's anyone else has become suddenly attuned to the way we're playing. I think it's something we're not doing right, and I think it all comes down to attitude. Generally, I think this goes back to what I was saying before, in that we've just seen West Ham try and break through. It hasn't happened. I think we're just not working as hard as we were in the last 8 months. I think there's a something about our players that says we've made it now. We've cracked the top 6 or 7, and we've got a right to be there. And they've forgotten that the reason they've got in that position is because they worked so bloody damn hard to get there in the last 2 years. And this year, it's just, we're just not putting the same effort, the same application. I think that's what it's down to, generally. I mean, there will be, of course, a combination of factors. You can't just say it's one thing, but I think if you had to choose one area and one reason why we're struggling, I think it's down to the fact. I don't think it's Moyes. I don't think Moyes is doing anything different. I think it's the players. I think the players need to, for once, work harder. I think that's what it is.
I hear you, but I think you've kind of hit the nail on the head when you say you don't think Moyes is doing anything different, and I think that is part of our problem.
Okay,
he's still not really doing anything different. He's trying to get the same tune out of players that are not as good as they were 18 months ago, players that have not really ever been any good when you take into account, I'm talking Ben Rama, for example, who has the odd flash here and there. And I don't know, maybe he's trying to get players to be something they're not. But the concerning thing is this season, the form of Rice. It's only 3 games.
Yeah.
But the form of Rice, and how many times we've seen it? We've had it with Man United, Man City, to a degree. Forest, Rice losing his head and getting booked in the first 10 minutes. Them coming through our middle for their first goal. We've just had Brighton go through the middle when it's parted like the Red Sea. Now, apparently, he's this super world-class central defensive midfielder, and he was nowhere. And yet we're conceding goals left, right, and centre. No, that don't quite work, does it? Left, right, and centre through the middle. But you know what I mean.
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
And this is what I don't get. And maybe he's been too overhyped. And I don't know. I just feel like I'm digging him out all the time.
No, you're not at all. But the problem, I think the thing is, he's set himself such high standards, isn't he? That's why we, when he doesn't give a 9 out of 10 performance, we're kind of like, well, what's going on and what's wrong? We're so used to him playing that well. I just want to go back to the game very quickly because West Ham have just had 2 very, very good chances. Sanchez made a great save from a Souček header a few moments ago. A brilliant cross by Ben Johnson, should I say, from the right-hand side. A lovely delivery onto Souček's head. It's goal-bound, and Sanchez has reached up to tip it over the bar. And then from the ensuing corner, a Cresswell corner, Jarrod Bowen this time with a header and almost an identical save from Sanchez, tipping that one over the bar as well. And the second corner came to nothing with Zuma heading the ball wide. But bit little too late for West Ham, unfortunately, Nick, but good to see anyway. Brighton have just made a substitution. March has just gone off. I didn't quite see who who he came on for. But I mean, you guys, I mean, let us know what you think. Am I right? Is it a fact that the players aren't working as hard? Is Nick right? Is David Moyes not being proactive enough and not mixing it up enough? What do you think? Rob Waldron says Fabianski's past his best. We spend £10 million on a bench warmer. And Danny says we played better with the changes. He needs to start this team, but we all know he won't. Does that mean he needs to change this team? Not quite sure. Danny, perhaps you can clarify. But Justin Lewis saying Moyes is too conservative, thinks it's the manager's problem. Mandy says Declan's off next year anyway. Maybe that's part of the problem. Maybe he's too complacent and comfortable in that position so far this year. Who knows? Hobo, the fear is they've all played above themselves. Now they're playing at their natural level. Why is another matter. Which kind of goes back to what I was saying, Hobo, about the fact that they were putting in an extra 10%, especially 2 seasons ago when we just narrowly avoided relegation. And there is sort of I think there's a tendency to think that you've attained a certain position and a certain quality, but you kind of forget why you've got that high in the league. Why we finished so well is because we grafted, we worked for each other. No evidence of that, Nick, at all so far this season. In fact,
no, none at all. And as somebody just put on the match thread, 5 points from the last 30 available, spread over the 2 seasons. That is inexplicably poor form. Inexplicably poor form. Why?
Yes.
Questions have got to be asked. David Moyes has done fantastically the past 2 seasons, or season and a half. Let's actually have it right. Season and a half. We had the little escape when he came in the January. We won the first game when he came in. We stuffed Bournemouth 4-1, I think, didn't we? Then we didn't win for quite some time. Then we kind of got going, and he kept us up with a game to spare, wasn't it? I think. And then we had that season where we finished 6th, which throughout the whole season, absolutely brilliant. No complaints at all on that one. And then we've had the last season with the European run, but our form dropping off a cliff from January, and it is until now. So really, take out of Europe, because what a run that was. But again, we still lost 4 games in that run.
Yeah.
The 2 Frankfurt games, Lyon at home, and Seville away, wasn't it?
Yep.
Oh, and 1 group game. So that's actually fine.
Yeah. But to be fair, you can't count that one because we fielded a team of kids, didn't we? The Zagreb game, Dinamo.
And coming to that, though, that was the game where our form then started dropping off.
Yes, and you've made this point before, haven't you? You kind of felt that was responsible for the start of the breakdown, as it were. Yeah,
because I was advocating, don't change a winning team. I know it's a dead rubber, but keep them going. Winning breeds confidence, etc., etc. But then we had that loss, which was the first one in Europe, and then we lost the next league game as well, and the record of not losing 2 league games in a row went, and whatever else. And it just seems to have been downhill since then. And I think we've put in 2 good performances that you could say, wow, what a performance.
Right, and they were
Seville at home.
Yep.
But to be honest, until extra time, we didn't really play particularly great in that game either. And I think that sticks in the memory because of the emotion of it and what it meant, that the fact we won in extra time, etc. But it weren't a great performance.
Yeah.
So take that out. Then we've got the Lyon game, which arguably was our best performance last season.
Well, best performance for years, you could say.
But after that, I'm struggling where to put my finger on a performance where we were really good. And it's been going on for too long. And I'm not saying get rid of Moyes. But questions, he's not infallible to have questions asked of him now because our form is atrocious. You've got Cardiff, here we come there, who's not been on the forum for absolutely yonks. He's now come back to the forum, oh joy, and he's Yeah, he's now saying that basically we can't be slagging off David Moyes. No, slagging him off is a bit harsh, but you can be asking the questions. We can be asking the questions. 5 points from the last 30 is not many managers will survive that.
No, that's true, and obviously he's going to have a lot of points in the bank for the European run. But yeah, you're absolutely right in terms of. Oh, and here's a chance for West Ham. Oh, it's unfortunate. Souček, he's been a bit unlucky today. He's had a couple of decent chances, but again, seeing that one. But I mean, to their credit, coming back to today, I think Brighton, not only have they taken the chances, they've defended really well. They've not given us anything, which I hate to say it, but is pretty much the same story we've had in every game against Brighton since 2010. But I think what's worrying me more than anything, yeah, we've lost 3 games, which is not good. We're not playing, the Premier League's elite, bar the first game. Well, hang on, Brighton are looking for a third here. This is dangerous. Oh, but Declan Rice has nipped in and won the ball. What worries me more than anything, Nick, is that we haven't put the ball in the net in the Premier League in 3 games.
No,
that's concerning, and we've got our 2 strikers out there.
Yep, and we've not really worked their keeper either. That's the thing. It's not like their keepers in all of the games. It's not like their keepers have had blinders and whatever else. They certainly, haven't performed like Rob Green did against Arsenal, kind of thing. We're leaky at the back. We're all over the shop, and we're, at the moment we're very blunt up front, and as well as
a recipe for relegation. That's what that is.
And as well as that, we've got a powder puff midfield with a supposedly world class £150 million defensive midfielder in it.
Yeah. Not working. Whatever we're doing at the moment, it's not working, and things need to change. I mean, I guess I'm sort of slightly clinging on to the hope that we need to integrate these new players that have come into the side, and that given time, we had a really, really, really bad blow when Agard, who was looking like he was going to be a quality introduction, got that injury. I mean, it's just so West Ham for that to happen. Yeah. And that was a real sucker punch, that one. But I still maintain it, and we've seen West Ham do this time in, time out, leaving these signings until this stage of the season when the Premier League has already started, where we're not in the groove when we need to be. It's going to take, I don't know, 4 to 6 weeks for everyone to start knowing the way each other plays, which we should be doing in June and July, not in August. That's the problem. Right. And others will say, well, everyone else is in the same boat, but they're not. We're introducing a lot of new players at the same time, and as anyone knows, that takes a while. You introduce 1 or 2, it's not such a big difference to the team. You introduce 5 or 6 to your 18-man squad, as we've done. That's a challenge.
It is a challenge, and I don't think it can be underestimated either. When you look through the players that we've lost, Mark Noble, Ryan Fredericks, even to a degree, Yarmolenko, they're all characters, all characters in the dressing room. Plus, of course, I don't like to say this, but I'm going to. The English contingent, two of the English contingent have gone. We brought in one English. Let me go to the thread, because I can't remember the ins and outs because we've had so many. So let me have a look at the ins and outs thread. The done deals thread. Who've we lost? Brian Fredericks.
Well, that's
Yarmolenko. Noble, David Martin, another English player, has gone. That's. I don't think it can be underestimated when you're trying to integrate not just new players, but players from different nations.
Okay.
I'm
just going to cut you off there quickly, Nick, because the game's finished. The final whistle was blown. It has finished. Disappointingly, West Ham United 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 2. The Hammers all at sea, and just for the 3rd game running. We kind of expected against Man City. Wasn't too worried about that, given the quality of the opposition. Forest was disappointing in that we created plenty of chances, just couldn't put the ball in the net. But David Moyes is going to find it difficult to find excuses for this one in his post-match press conferences, because the Hammers were not at the races at all. Well beaten. Didn't deserve anything from the game, to be honest. And in the end, we've lost to a goal either side of half-time. McAllister opening the scoring on 22 minutes for the visitors. New signing, Carra, bringing down Danny Welbeck on the edge of the box. Looked like it might be outside initially, but VAR decreed that it was actually inside the box. I'm still not sure. I'd like to see it again. Regardless, it didn't matter. McAllister stepped up to put Brighton ahead. And then West Ham were in control, really, in the second half. Started the second half really well. Didn't create too many chances, but were definitely on top. And then 66 minutes, midpoint of the second half, Trossard, almost, Nick and I, as we said, it was almost a carbon copy of Manchester City's second goal here 2 weeks ago when the defence opened like, the Red Sea just parted. And Moses on this occasion was Trossard, who just walked through and rolled the ball beyond Fabianski to double the visitors' advantage and score the second and final goal of the game that gives Brighton another win. They've had a really good start. Let's also not discount that. They've now
Absolutely.
taken points from their opening line, beating Manchester United as well. It's another one, Nick. We were talking about that hoodoo against Brighton, and where are we? 11 games now, is it, without a win against them? It's incredible.
I'm not even worried about 11 games without a win against Brighton. I'm worried about the now 11 games with only one league win. That concerns me more.
Yeah.
That concerns me far more than the fact that we ain't beat. At least we've got some points off, taken points off them in those 11 games.
Yeah.
But at the moment, we're looking like a side that is sleepwalking. I'm going to say it. We look like a side that's sleepwalking into a relegation fight.
What do you guys think? Watching on the stream, plenty of you joining us this afternoon to watch this one. Do you think West Ham should be worried at this stage of the season, or is it just a case of we haven't hit the ground running, we haven't hit the ground walking yet? Let's be honest. You got any concerns about this looking forward, or do you think it's just a case of just a bit of bad luck and injuries, and that everything will be all right in the end? Let us know in the down there in the chat. Let us know what you think. We'll be here for a few minutes more. Won't be staying around too long after this one, but time for you to get your comments in. Is it worth doing man of the match today, Nick? Is there anyone who really deserves the award?
No, I don't think so.
No.
To a man, it doesn't warrant it. It doesn't even it's not even worth thinking about it, because not one player comes out smelling of roses.
Let's in that case, let's have a chat about our new signing who did start. There's only one new signing, I think, who started today, wasn't there? Carra.
Yep.
Out of the six. Not the greatest start to his West Ham career. Conceded that penalty. What did you make of his performance overall?
I think it should be said that he was put in the position to concede the penalty by Zuma.
Yeah.
Losing the ball way up the pitch anyway. But nonetheless, a little bit of naivety, I think, getting used to the league. And while it cost us a goal, anywhere else on the pitch, it could be argued that it wasn't a penalty.
Yeah.
In the first place, but it was given. I thought it was at the very least on the line. I don't share your opinion. It was outside, and it was it was a good penalty. He got caught out. It's his first start. He hasn't had a chance to acclimatise from the league. He's been slung straight in. Yeah, I'm not going to hold a gun to his head too much.
Yeah.
It's, to me, again, it's one of those things like Areola with the penalty against Man City. Again, he was caught out by a player he's never faced before, and I think we was all surprised at the turn of pace that Haaland had.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I'm not going to hang him out to dry too much. What was more concerning was their second goal, where we just parted like the Red Sea. They completely cut through us, and that's with Souček and Rice supposedly in the middle. Carra and Zuma, our two centre backs were nowhere to be seen. Carra was over on the left. Where was Cresswell? It was just an absolute shambles. It was playground stuff.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see that one again. As I said at the time, I imagine that Cresswell was pushing forward, as is the way with our fullbacks when we're in possession and we lost the ball and got turned over very quickly. Why I can't understand why Carra was so far out on to the left. We'll put that down to the fact that he's new in the team, but just seemed very odd positioning to me. But anyway, wouldn't have mattered in the end because they had already scored and they were already ahead. But so no man of the match. Let's have a quick look at some of the comments. We did ask for your opinion on where it's going wrong for West Ham, and quite a few of you have had your say. John North says we should have started with some new signings. At least they would inject something into what was a lethargic West Ham. Hobo says, don't be worried, be petrified. They say, if you can't be good, be lucky. Well, we're neither. And Alan by 6 says, our shortage of good technical players was shown up completely today. Our passing is abysmal. We seem to have no intensity. Zuma is looking like a busted flush, as is Souček. We've done Souček to death, Nick. Kurt Zuma. Now, for me, he's just not looked fit since the end of last season.
He's not fit. I don't think he's fit either. But how much is that pussycat stuff affected him as well as his injury? And what kind of headspace is he in at the moment? You know, it can't be forgotten that, you know, these people are only human beings after all. We don't know what maybe is going on in players' lives and in their heads and stuff. But again, something don't look right with him. But maybe he needs a break. But we ain't got no one to replace him with.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? That is the problem. With Dawson out, with Diop sold and Agerd injured, there's no one else you can put in there. But I mean, I got a pretty good look at him last week when we were at Forest because we were in the second row behind the goal, and he took a knock in the first minute of the game. I mean, you obviously saw the match, but he took a knock pretty much right at the start and just didn't seem to be at ease at all for the 90 minutes. And I think we've seen this a lot with him before. I think that's a really good point you make. I think that's a really, really valid point you make about the whole court case and all that, because it took a hell of a lot of criticism, from West Ham fans, but every away game you go to, every time he touches the ball, the cat song start up. And yeah, he may be being paid handsomely in a king's ransom to kick a ball around a field for a living, but as you say, these are still people. It still affects you up here. And I think that's a really valid point. I don't think that's something that people have considered is the effect that's had on him over the last few months. And anyway, it'd be interesting to see what happens there, because he's certainly not the player he was. Let's have a quick chat about our captain, Declan Rice. Carried the team at times last year. And
really?
You disagree? Okay. Well, that's another argument. Maybe we'll save that one for the forum. But just not looking like the player he was last year in any sense at all, is he? Why is that? Why do you think that is?
He's looking like a player that thinks he's a superstar and he's too good for us. I've noticed a little bit of petulance started going in his game, the throwing up of his hands, the grabbing the penalty, even the penalty last week. Him standing up to take it. I don't really want to use the phrase becoming a bit of a Billy Big Spuds, but I just have, if you know what I mean.
Super finish.
Sell him. Move on from him now. And we should have done that. It's not good having that hanging over the club. You know, obviously we've heard snippets and stuff about gentlemen's arrangements and agreements regarding next season. Oh, bollocks to that. Just if you don't want to be here, if he wants to go to a top six club, don't. And I do wonder how much of that is actually having an effect this season.
Yeah.
But everyone knows that the gentlemen's agreements are in place because he ain't going to keep it. Even if the players ain't stupid, they're going to know. They know that this is his last season. Doesn't matter who we sign. You know, people on forums still saying that, we do well, we might go. No, he's off. He's gone. And he's now playing like a player that knows that he's going, because he's been abysmal the past 3 games. absolutely abysmal.
Yeah.
And the value's actually probably dropping.
Well, that was the next thing I was going to mention is, well, should we catch him while we can? But clearly not comfortable at the moment. But we certainly can't blame it on Declan. I mean, he's no different from anyone else. I think it's just that because he is who you class as our best player, he's the one that we concentrate on most and gets most of the, when things are going wrong, and also you look to your skipper as well. And it's just not working out for him at the moment. But anyway, let's have a look at a few more comments from the live chat here on our YouTube channel. John North talking about Declan says, it's like he's gone on strike. We should have sold him earlier and invest money in players who want to play for West Ham. Lawrence Salmon going along with that, Nick saying Rice getting ready to leave. And Yahia Gonzalez completely disagreeing, and Yahia saying Rice definitely isn't the problem. What is Yahia? Let us know. Let us know who you think is the issue. Lawrence Salmon asking, what is Moyes doing at training or not doing? Not a great deal different from what he's been doing before, I would imagine. But anyway, what else have we got here? Alan, we did that. We did the thing about lack of good technical players, which is something we've touched on anyway before. But next, where are we next, Nick? We're in Denmark on Thursday night for the second leg.
We are indeed.
Europa League. Surely we couldn't blow that one, could we?
We could. Don't think we will.
No.
But we could. We could. But I think we'll just have enough. But obviously, the warning signs were there, though.
Yeah.
We won our comfortable 3-1 winners in the end. But, the warning signs were there. And, their own place in the far out depths of Denmark.
Yep.
Probably the biggest club they've had go to there for many a year. It's going to be like a cup final for them, having the Mighty Hammers there. Yeah,
it's could be a tricky one. Of course, if they get an early goal, the pressure goes against West Ham, and especially having some trouble finding the back of the net. Though, of course, we didn't the other night against Viborg, but be an interesting one. I get and of course, I think it's going to be a very different game, isn't it? Because at the LOS, we were pretty much. Well, they were sitting back trying to soak up the pressure. Now they've got to come out. They know they've got to score. If they don't score 2 goals, they're out of the competition or possibly 3. So the onus is upon them to attack, which I think will serve us well. I think that's the sort of circumstances Moyes likes his team playing in, where we're sitting back, soaking up the pressure, and then hitting on the counter. And though that said, we've sat here and argued all afternoon that we haven't got players with pace to do that. But I think we'll be okay. I've got a feeling we'll win that one again. But like the other night, I don't think it's going to be a walk in the park. I think it might be a 2 or 3-1. But I think we'll go through to the group stage quite comfortably. And
I do as well. I mean, but I'm saying it's kind of not beyond the realms, and I don't think we've the emphasis on the pace. It gets said a lot. And I think we're putting too much emphasis on getting pacing. It's more, as we've both said today, it's creativity. Somebody to replace Mark Noble there. I think we're missing that more than somebody who's a fast runner.
Yeah,
personally, because we do have a little bit of pace. They're not proper sprinters, but Antonio's still not particularly slow. Cresswell's like he's running in treacle, but he still does have his moments though. At 33 years of age, he does put up a good fight sometimes against some of these wingers.
Yeah.
Benrahma's not exactly slow. We saw that today.
Yeah,
that bit of play that he had coming down the left, where he then crossed it when there was nobody within 20 yards. He wasn't slouching by no means. He's not. I don't know if we want to judge people because they're not Raheem Sterling, Eze, or Zaha. Players that are supremely fast runners. But for the most part, we have got players with pace that are just not as quick as other, the the fastest players in the league. You know, that used to be someone who was levelled at Andy Carroll all the time, that he had no pace, and yet you pull up the stats and he was one of the fastest players in the league.
Yeah.
You know, so it's, to me, that's a bit of a misnomer. It's the creativity, somebody that can take the game, slow it down, dictate tempo in the middle of the park, is what I think is what we're missing above all else.
And that's kind of ironic, isn't it? For the last few years, people have been bemoaning Mark Noble's inclusion, saying that he slows the team down too much, and yet here we are saying, well, perhaps that's exactly what we needed, someone to stick their foot on the ball and get control of it. But interesting stuff nonetheless. Couple of stats for you. Brighton, you know, we said that a lot of people felt that we should beat Brighton today, but the last 12 games, they've won 7, drawn 4 and lost only 1, and that defeat was against Manchester City. They've scored 20 goals and conceded only 9. So, you know, as bad as West Ham's form has been in that last dozen games, Brighton has been exactly the opposite. They are absolutely flying.
They're in top form, and again they've carried it over from last season, and that's why you need to finish a season strongly, because the belief and the confidence is rolls over.
Yeah, I mean that's if you look at those stats there, Nick, that's what's that? 7 wins and 4 draws. That's 25 points in 12 games. So if you equate that over the length of the season, that's about 77, 78 points. And that is going to take you into the Champions League with no question at all. So that's the sort of quality that Brighton are playing at. And so perhaps if you look at that, it's not such a bad result. I mean, of course it's a bad result, but it's not as if we're playing someone who's you know, mid-table and winning one and losing one. They are absolutely banging forward. And Potter's got them playing superbly at the moment.
Yeah, of course. And going back to the pre-season, you know, or the previous season form running over into the next. That's what happened with us last season.
Yeah.
When we finished 6th and the club was on a high, and then we started off at 100 miles an hour, you know, won our first 3 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And we only finished 7th because of their start to the season. Let's not beat about the bush on there. We accrued most of our points last season in the first half of the season. But you look at teams like Spurs, look at teams like Arsenal. Arsenal sitting top of the league with 3 wins in 3 after having a terrible start to the season last season. But they've carried their momentum over. Brighton have, Tottenham have, and we have. And that's where, you know, form. It's not about how you start a season. To me, it also matters a lot how you end the previous one. As to how you do the following season, and I do fear for us this season. We could potentially be walking into, said it on the forum, we could potentially be walking here into a relegation battle.
Okay,
and I won't be surprised if we do. Snippet from the forum.
Yes,
from Croydon, who is not normally someone to post stuff like this. Our officials are going to be in Bruges tomorrow. Player has said internally it's most likely to be his last game today. Not sure if I need to give them mod source for that, but it's likely the only ITK snippet I will ever get in my life.
Well, do you know what? You've actually stolen my thunder there, because that's how I was going to end on something positive, and that positive was going to be some transfer news. I can tell you the source. It's come from 11 Sports, a Belgian channel, and Hans Vanaken has confirmed following Bruges' game today that, as Nick has just informed you there, that there will be talks held early next week between Bruges and West Ham with regards to a permanent transfer. So. Looks like it's going to be another busy week in the transfer market. We know Emerson is going to be coming in the next, hopefully 2 or 3 days for a medical. So that one should be signed up and done and dusted before long. And as Nick has just pointed out there, it looks like Vanaken is going to be coming in as well before next weekend. We're at Villa, aren't we, next weekend? It's is it Saturday or Sunday? Can't think, but well, it must be Sunday because we're playing Thursday night. So possibly 2 more players in the mix for next week. So some good news there, and yeah, let us know.
So if they do sign in time for Villa next week, who's the money going to be on for which one concedes the penalty?
Well, if they get a chance to play, of course. You know what Moyes is like. Doesn't play
That's
new
true.
signings. So it's,
Areola, permanent signing, penalty. Carra,
Yes.
permanent signing, penalty. Who's going to come on and make their debut and give away a penalty next week? It's got to happen, isn't it?
No, come on.
Do you know what?
Let's get all this negativity out of the window.
No, it
We're
ain't
wrapping up now.
negativity.
Come on.
I want some new camera lenses, right? And I ain't got the money. So I'm kind of wondering what the odds on that will be. What the bookies odds would be on conceding a third penalty next week with a new signing.
What lenses are you after specifically? What are you looking at?
The expensive ones. I'm not going to say in public because people might be listening.
Okay, all right, no worries. In fact, while we're here, you've got to give us a plug, haven't you? You know, you've got a new venture.
I have
Do
indeed.
you wish to give it? I mean, you might not want to give it a plug. I might be putting you on the spot there, but
No, I'll give it a plug. Anyone that's in the localish area to London, Sussex, Kent, Essex, even as far up as Suffolk and whatever, within up reasonable travelling distance and maybe beyond, is my new venture. I am taking seriously professional photography, event portraiture. I do have a website which is www.nickfretwellphotography.com. So if you want to look at my work and you need a photographer for any events, weddings, even business collaborations, take a look at my site. So yeah,
bar mitzvahs.
might as well, bar mitzvahs, you name it, I will do it.
7300, any good to you? Just pluck this out the drawer.
Canon.
Sigma.
See, that could be as work on part exchange.
Cheap.
I know they are. That's a kit lens that comes with the Canon cameras.
Yes, yeah. Haven't used it for some years now, but you never know. One day. There you go. Take a look if you're in need of a photographer. There's your man. Good West Ham man. Keep it in the family as well. Doing actually on a serious note, he's doing some fantastic stuff. If you follow Nick on Facebook or have you seen his work on KUMB, it's absolutely brilliant. So you could do a lot worse. Get in there if good rates, and I don't take any commission, so everything he gets will be going straight to.
Yeah, if you quote KUMB, then I'll give you a nice little discount. There we go.
There you go. Bonus balls. We're going to end it there, folks. There was another. Yeah, here we go. So I want to end on a positive note because we try and do that if possible. It's not been a great day for West Ham. Let's be honest. It's we've had better days. But I'm going to end it with this comment from Aidan Lacey, and Aidan reflecting on today's game says 3 games this season: 1 against the league champions, 2 against the newly promoted team at their place, and 3 against our bogey team. And let's be honest, there's no bogey team like Brighton for West Ham these days. They're all out of the way, says Aidan. We will get better. And let's just hope he's right, because I'm not sure we can take much more of what we've seen today. But Nick, final words. Anything you want to say before we wrap up, mate?
It's time for dinner.
Indeed, it is. Indeed. What are you having? A nice roast today?
No, I ain't got a clue yet. I will open the fridge and see what's there. And,
you're cooking today. Okay, all right.
Today, I cook every blooming day.
Well, I didn't want to say that, but
don't even know yet.
All right. Well, I hope whatever you dig out and do is very fine and goes down very well. But I'm off for a roast dinner anyway. The wife's cooking. I'm
Nice.
delighted to say. It's it's got to be something good coming out today. We've not seen it at the London Stadium. That's it from us anyway. Thank you to everyone. Big and busy day today. We've had lots of people join us on the live stream, which is nice to see. I hope you like the new format. The background, us together on the same thing. We're not in the same. In case anyone was wondering, we're not sitting together. I'm sure that's pretty obvious. From the difference in the cameras and the fact that we sort of block out when we go like that. There we go. No more of that gnome putting his hand across you. So I think you're on top of me. Can you stretch your left arm out, Nick? I think you might come across.
Oh, that's my right one.
That's the one. Oh no, you do it as well. Look,
No.
Hands across the waves.
We look like we've been involved in industrial accidents.
Like some sort of bizarre Siamese experiment. Anyway, enough of that nonsense. We're off. It has finished. West Ham United 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 2. West Ham 3 defeats out of 3 at the start of the Premier League. Oh, we're not going to have another season like that, are we? Sure, we're not. Aidan, I'm sure is right. It's all going to come good in the end. But we're off to Denmark Thursday night. Join us live on the stream. We're going to be doing Eyes Up Mother Brown again. Come and join us for some chat and bants and all that stuff down there. For now, we're off to the KUMB.com forum match thread to chat about the game. And well, I'm not sure actually it's going to be a very good place to go, but we're going to go over there and have a look anyway. Come and join us. Till next time, take care, everyone. And
come on, you guys.